Yo, what's up? Good to see you all. Glad you could make it. We are joined by PJ and also Derek Nelson. He just had to drop quickly, but he'll drop in now. How's it
Oh,
going, PJ?
all good, all good, all good. I've still got to go grab a coffee.
But it's good to see you, man. I was actually busy over at Adams. Hero Lord sent me watching him debate a Unitarian, Andrew. And
Yeah, dropped in for a couple of minutes. I dropped in for a few minutes.
we're definitely going to review that, though.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I've saved it just in case I want to review. But if you're reviewing it, you know what I mean. Probably better you review it. You'll get a lot more views in it than I will. You know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean?
can still review it, man.
I could, but I mean,
But
it'd
the
be
thing
better.
that I've been finding though on this debate, which is always getting it, is just nah. There's no actual rebuttal to Trinitarianism. It's just nah.
Mm,
That's practically it.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like at the end of the day, you just ask them, okay, please read Matthew 3 or Matthew 26. And it's like it says it on screen for you,
Mm,
all three persons. I mean, Jesus tells you straight, baptize everybody in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
yeah.
Clear and simple. There's three different persons.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Adam seems to be on this quantum physics
He
type.
loves the
What's it
quantum
all?
argument.
What's this all about? This quantum physics type
While
stuff.
you see, he understands that quantum physics actually proves the Trinity. It shows the Trinity true. So remember, how's God omnipresent? He's existing and not existing at exactly the same time. That's quantum. He is everywhere at once without being everywhere at once. That's quantum.
But
So
quantum means very small, doesn't it?
yeah, but it's existing in one place and another at the same time. So
I know you can get that with an electron. Don't you? There's a certain
it's the
electron.
same the double split experiment.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
No, is it a neutron, an electron, or something like one of them? If they're separated, doesn't matter how far they're separated. If one, I don't know, flashes a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
way,
Look,
the other flashes.
the quantum
Yeah,
does work on the quantum level. It's very small.
right.
But what he's trying to denote from that is God's existence in multiple places at the same time. That's what he's trying to get. But yeah, if I usually like debate Trinitarianism against Unitarianism,
Mm.
I usually let them read the scriptures where you see Jesus being baptized, and there comes the Holy Spirit as a dove, and God the Father in an audible voice says, "This is my Son, who I'm well
I'm well
pleased." You know what I
pleased.
mean?
Yeah, all three were there in the winner. All three.
hmm So it's quite a thing. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go back to reviewing the video from last night.
Just go grab a coffee.
I just have to start off with a point where I couldn't hear properly last night. I'm going to do it now, and then that's why I rewinded a bit so we can hear this part again because I heard wrong.
Okay.
And I did say, "Is that exactly what you said?" And I think everybody heard exactly what I heard instead of just hearing what she was actually saying. So we're going to quickly correct that, and then we'll move on.
All that to say, it depends on the camp that you're talking about because there are Christian flat earthers and then there are secular flat
You
earthers.
see, you actually said secular flat earthers. I didn't really listen properly. You know what I mean?
Well,
So when she's talking about the secular, she's like, they don't really read scripture. And then we took it as, oh, what? She's saying flat earthers don't read scripture. You understand? I didn't hear the secular part.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I
so I'm
definitely.
just correcting myself on that. So sorry,
Right.
guys, I didn't hear the secular part. Just
All
to
good.
correct it.
And I've already named two, so I'll
Because
just
you'll
sort
see
of
now.
use those as examples. Dean Odell is probably the most prominent that I know of Christian flat earthers.
Okay.
He debated Greg Locke back in December 2023. It was a 4-hour debate at Locke's church. I think they set up a tent for it or something. And the crowds were big, and it ended with Greg Locke kicking Odell and his followers out of the church and said, "Go away."
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yes, it is consistent with what we have seen with regard to him. However, in that 4-hour discussion, Odell basically
Can I just
described
say,
his entire book. I mean, he had
Yeah,
hundreds of
yep.
slides.
it wasn't just his fault. It wasn't just Dean Odell's followers that was kicked out. He was on about his own congregation. If you don't like it, you can go as well.
That's right.
People from his own congregation. So it wasn't just Dean Odell's. You know what I mean?
He's willing to even let his whole congregation go just for his ego and pride.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was the same with what's that other guy that hate pastor, that Anderson or what?
Stephen
Anderson.
Stephen Anderson is exactly the same. He's also, how many people of his church walked out after they kicked that other guy out because he was like, oh, you guys support the flat earth, you support it, you can just leave.
I know. And the thing is, I used to like his passion at one point when he preached about certain things till I heard him on the flat earth.
Well, it's like once he heard about flat earth, his entire attitude changed. Like he just became very angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
That he ended up just skipping through. But I'm going to try to explain to you where he comes from when he's coming from the flat earth perspective, just by telling you what's in the table of contents. So the first chapter is called Satan's Global Deception.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the theory then is that Satan is hiding the fact that this is a flat earth to deceive us.
But why
Yes.
does it matter if it's why does that?
Well, we went.
Okay.
Well,
hold on.
we went through this last night actually, but we can say it again. The reason why it matters is because you can even look at today. A lot of people that believe in the globe, specifically leave Christianity a lot of the time because then they start believing in evolution. They start believing in the heliocentric model more than they should, and excuse me. And because a lot of people understand that the Bible does describe the earth as flat, they can't reconcile that. So what happens is they become atheists. So yes, it does actually matter in a sense of salvation issue based on, how can I say, perception. Remember, the devil is simply there to perverse everything of God. So the heliocentric globe religion belief is just a perversion of God's created earth. I mean, look at it, it's total opposite. God created an enclosed stationary plane, yet what is being taught today as fact? Moving, open ball, literally a 180, literally an opposite of what God created the earth to be described in the Bible. And yes, it's described in the Bible as a stationary enclosed plane. So yes, I wouldn't say in itself it's a salvation issue, but its connotations can make a salvation issue. It can give people reasons to try and say, okay, Christianity is not true. It's good to see you guys, by the way. Please hit the likes, share the show. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you all.
And I saw all this. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. No, Martin, do you have
I
anything
saw
to
it all the time growing up. Like, even though I wasn't a churchgoer or believer myself growing up in school, like other kids who were, I saw them become atheists left and right all the time because of what we were being taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's so much to it that matters.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. How many people grow up Christian and then they go to university and they end up falling away from university? Why? Because what they're being pushed down their throats, the globe model and evolution.
Yeah.
So yes, it does have a salvation issue lapse to it. Okay, let's carry on. By the way, guys, it's good to see everybody here. Just hit the likes, share the show. Really, really does help.
Yep.
And
Greetings,
tonight
everyone.
we can go on longer than 2 hours. Hee hee.
I'm on at 11, so like I'll have to go. If you go on past 11, which is like 2
Yeah, I
hours.
don't think we've gone too long though.
But no, but I'm just saying if you do, I'll just leave about 10 minutes before I have to go on. Or whatever,
okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Just remember, guys, tomorrow is going to be an awesome show.
Yeah,
2 o'clock Central African time, 1 o'clock UK time. The big round table, Satan short season heretical chat. Ooh.
Is it still the same restream link as last time?
Same one, yeah. You've already
Remote.
linked to it, so it's quite
Cool.
Yeah.
Because last time it was up on my stream, but now it's not.
No,
So,
it will automatically
Just
go
come
on
up,
when
yeah.
we start, yeah.
yeah.
But I'm
It's just-
looking forward to that.
It's just so I know to change the thumbnail though, because the thumbnail it leaves me with is the one that you didn't want on. Oh, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and we also added Sean from KIC now as
Oh,
well.
yeah, the Sean to it as well. Yeah.
But I'm thinking I'm gonna maybe do a new thumbnail tomorrow morning anyway.
I've already done my own one for it anyway. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very exciting. I think it's going to be a good discussion. I can't say we're going to have a quick discussion. It might go on for a few hours.
yeah, I would say.
Yeah,
So.
who knows?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. It's like 10 of us and we all got our say to say. So it can go on a while.
My salvation doesn't matter on whether the earth is flat or a square or a star or spaghetti. I don't understand.
So I will tell you that some flat earthers believe it does matter, because if you do not believe it is a flat earth, then you are not taking the Bible literally.
That's also we had to say last night. I don't agree with that totally. We see it as, and we've said this many times, it's not a salvation issue to say, okay, God, I believe it's a heliocentric model. It's just a personal thing which you have to end up thinking to yourself, like, well, if God tells me this is how it's made, how the creation's made, and I'm choosing to believe man over what God tells me, you're by essence calling God a liar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's a salvation issue. That's a you issue that you have to sort out between you and God, though.
The only way it's a salvation issue is if it's leading you away from Christ. You know what I mean?
And the heliocentric model does that.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
And I've seen that. Oh, I've seen that before too, though. Like where other flat earthers were making it a salvation issue, and it's not good because it's not true.
Of course not.
Like it can affect their growth in God, I would say, but ultimately, whether they're saved or not, no.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you just follow what John 3:16 says, you're saved, okay? If you declare Jesus as your Lord and Savior, that he died for you for your salvation, you're saved. You're a Christian, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Believing that the earth's a globe or a flat earth or a camel or whatever you want, it's not going to change the fact that you are saved. But
I mean,
the connotation believing that the earth's a globe is a perversion of God's creation, and therefore you have a chance to lose your salvation, because you then, in other words, literally your foundation is built on God lied.
But the attitude of, oh, who cares if it's camel shaped? Who cares if it's star shaped? Who cares if it's round? Who cares if it's flat? Who cares if it's spherical? Well, it's just, it's the principle of being lied to most of our life in school. I mean, it doesn't make a difference to your salvation at all. It doesn't matter if you believe it's a globe or if you believe it's flat. It's the principle of, once you find out you've been lied to, and they've been trying to put this globe in front of you all the time from day one. It's been in the classroom, and from day one you're taught about it. So it's a principle thing as well, It's a principle thing. Like, who wants to be lied to?
Yeah, exactly.
Biblical literalism coincides with believing in the flat earth. They don't really believe there are many.
Last night, that's not true. There's a lot of biblical flat earthers today that don't take literally. There's amillennialists, Christians out there, flat earthers, and they believe in a lot of things that are not literal in the Bible. They specifically believe in allegorical things. So that's not really true. She's trying to kind of clump everybody into one clubhouse. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So-
maybe it's who she was around and didn't get the full picture. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, if we do look at the research she did in that month, she was practically just getting the same things fed from everybody else. Mark Sargent, probably Dave Farina, not Professor Dave, Simon Dan, McToon, the same people. And then you get maybe Dave Weiss and then Dean Odell, obviously. Because those are the people that usually pop up when you type flat earth. So you're already going to get a bias data collection for your research when you're starting to research flat earth. And I can see that's kind of influenced the way she thinks and the way she sees flat earth.
Yeah.
Right.
Hence why we said in the first video of this, it kind of seemed a very biased and bigoted kind of way that they like portraying flat earthers as not normal.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent, the false equivalent she came out with. I can't remember what she said, but it had nothing to do with how anybody would see flat earth. I mean, the equivalent, I can't remember what she used, the one on the right yesterday. I can't remember what she used it, but it was, it was the wrong equivalence. I can't remember what it was she used to try and equate it to. I really can't, but it was silly. It was silly.
Yeah.
Metaphors or idioms within scripture, unless it's like super obvious. And that's where we get into some of the verses that we'll talk about later regarding things that might indicate that it's a flat earth. But I want to clear it up like right from the start. The Bible doesn't say whether the earth is flat or spherical. It doesn't mention that. What it does tell us is that God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
And it explains how we were created, not necessarily the
Separating
shape
waters
of the
from
earth.
waters.
Okay, that's wrong though. If you go read Genesis 1, it tells us the order of creation and how God created the earth, okay? If you go read Genesis 2, he's explaining how we were created, Adam and Eve, in other words. He was explaining the context of Adam and Eve. So that is totally wrong. God does describe the shape in Genesis 1, and he does describe the shape right through the Bible, like Isaiah 40:22. It's insane that there's so many scriptures out there that describe the earth as, stationary, enclosed on pillars and foundations. And they're trying to say it. No, the Bible doesn't say nothing about this. No. Genesis 1 is a historical context. So you take it historical. You don't need to take it allegorical because it's historical. God said, let there be light. God said, and it was good. And God said, let there be a firmament. You see, there's nothing allegorical about that. It was a historical moment which we are revisiting when God said to Moses how he created the earth. And when he said God created the heavens and the earth, great, yes, I agree, he created the heavens and the earth. But he also said, and the earth was without form. The shape, in other words, the shape is dictated there. What is it? Does a sphere have shape? Yes. So it has form. If you look at for instance, a lump of clay, that doesn't have form. What's up, Sean? How's it going, man?
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good. As yourself?
Yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm sorry I missed it. What's going on with your eye again, Keith?
Oh no, I actually burst the vein while
Oh, okay.
exercising, and it seemed to have got an infection.
That's so
what
crazy,
happens
man.
That's what happens
I
when
think
you
I did this.
pick something up too heavy.
I think I did the same thing last January. It was like there was a lot of pressure in my left eye while I was working out, and then I got an eye infection just a couple days after that, and it was weird.
Exactly, my left eye, because I saw the vein burst. I just felt burning all of a sudden. I saw the vein burst. I was like, and then it just picked up infection like 2 days later. He dropped.
He must be driving, I assume.
Yeah, probably. He's usually driving at this time.
And I wanted to say real quick, like what this lady said, oh, the Bible doesn't say whether Earth is spherical or flat. But the thing is, we can eliminate the idea that Earth is spherical because it's nowhere in there. It can't even be implicated.
No, it doesn't implicate it anyway. But like I said, without form, that 100% fits with flat. So yeah, when they're trying to say the Bible doesn't describe the cosmology, how did the Hebrews get their cosmology then?
Yeah.
So yeah, Sean dropped again.
It usually takes him a few times, doesn't it? That's all right.
Okay, but let's carry on while he's trying to come in. Oh, there we go. You're losing reception, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch to Chrome to see if it'll work. I have great reception. I'm in the middle of town with 5G, so I don't know what's going on with the browser.
Oh, so satellites aren't working.
Some sharks are eating the internet right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're remembering about tomorrow's show, the roundtable.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the 5 a.m.
Yeah, you said you might be able to. Yeah. See, the thing is, we had to like try and work at a time for everybody, and that's like, I don't know, the weirdest time everybody wanted to work out.
Well, that's one of the only times that I'm actually asleep.
Yeah, but we're still gonna. I mean, it's not gonna be a quick show, so we might be live when you wake up anyway. So.
Yeah, because I normally go to bed at like 3 a.m. Depends on what's going on, and depends on how many times my son wakes up during the night.
Yeah. I have to say, with our baby, he's an angel. He just sleeps. Okay, so yeah, you say you also reviewed this video we're watching now.
Yeah, it's it was in a church's video, and I know you're starting part 2, so I'm sure you'll get to this point today where you start to realize that this Melissa lady on the right, she is faking this whole thing. She actually is very well of flat Earth, even to the point of knowing who Patricia Steer is.
There you go.
Okay, so she's kind of checked around everywhere.
All these reactions, all these facial expressions and reactions, and all these gaffes and surprised reactions. This is all staged. It's all fake.
Oh,
she knows exactly what flat Earth is. She's got it. Now, if you go to her comments on this video, there's even people in the comments saying, "Why are you acting like this is the first time you heard about flat Earth? Because you have a video on your channel from years ago about flat Earth."
So she got caught out.
See what I mean?
But I mean, look at the book she was pushing out, Christian Apologetics, which has nothing to do with apologetics. It's like, why are you trying to tell us of Christian apologetics when you literally say it's got nothing to do with apologetics? So it's the same now with her character with this flat Earth thing. She's misrepresenting it and acting like it's some kind of fringe thing. Because I don't know if you've seen the same thing. The way they're trying to portray flat earthers are like, we're not normal. You know, they give a bigoted stance against flat Earth.
Oh yeah, like everything has to be put in layman's terms for us because we just don't understand stuff.
Yeah. So that to me is quite a thing.
Well, that's kind of a natural defense response.
Yep. But that's usually the answer we get, though. The kind of behavior we do get from the Globies.
But people like Dean Odell have looked at scripture and sort of gleaned, and this was pretty recently, even for Dean Odell. And I think he started talking about this maybe in 2013. And so it's relatively recent for him as well. But basically, Satan is hiding reality from us. And part of the reason is Satan does not want us to know what the Bible really says.
I agree with Dean Odell on that. One thing I just got to say, though, is it's the people hiding it.
Yeah.
It's not Satan himself. Satan uses the people to hide it. So, in other words, the people that have allegiance.
Yeah.
and we've been trying to point this out quite a lot to especially Christian Globers out there. They seem to be, when they get into this whole biblical cosmology argument, they either take one or two sides. They either accept that, well, the Bible does teach it's a flat, and they kind of say, okay, well, you know, they didn't know any better. This was just how it was. I'm going to accept the heliocentric model for what it is because science says so, you know. Or the other side that just denies it completely and says, no, that's not what the Bible teaches. But now both of these sides both have their connotations. The first side is accepting it, but then they're calling God a liar by prefix of saying, well, God lied to Moses when he told him how he created the earth, and everybody was just too dumb to understand. And the second prefix is, well, God is a liar anyway because heliocentric model. So which one are you going to take? It's as simple as that.
And so we're not fully trusting God, I guess. Now, I haven't heard necessarily that Dean Odo believes that this is a salvific issue. He's a pastor, and so I am guessing that believing the Bible is true is part of being a Christian, but ultimately our salvation rests with Christ, right? Like Christ living and dying and being resurrected and ascending to heaven. That's what Christians believe about how we are saved. So this would be a separate issue that is interesting to talk about.
I think we brought this up as last night as well. That's not really what Christians believe. Christians believe Jesus came to die for our sins. That's the very important one you got to say. He came to atone for our sins.
That's right.
She's not making it sound like Jesus came to die for our sins. She's just making it sound like, well, Jesus came, he died, and he went to heaven. That's why we're Christians. No.
He had a mission to accomplish.
Yeah, he came to fulfill prophecy.
That's right.
And now you look at the gal on the right's expressions, you do see they're a little forced, aren't they?
Yeah, but like I was saying, she definitely has. This is all kind of scripted. You're telling me that she doesn't know this information already either?
Of course.
Because she's really playing like, oh, this doesn't make sense, you know. It's all for the
work out
drama.
why we think that. Why would they think that?
Yeah, it's all for the drama.
Yeah, it's part of the mockery. And what's crazy is that Romans 1:19 and 20 talks about the character attributes of God and how it's visible and evident in creation. And so, I mean, if we're trying to point people to understand that they're created so they can even have a framework to realize why they need Jesus to die for their sins, why we need reconciliation to the Creator, like it's a part of the narrative. The Bible is not just about Jesus on the cross. It does give us all this description about who the Creator is, where he is, what he made for us, how he's going to come tabernacle with us in the future on the earth. And that's like a big part of the story that Jesus makes possible, And to me, it's just to demonize or to shame people away from thinking about this part of the Bible is extremely an unbiblical thought process. It's an unbiblical viewpoint for Christianity, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I think the foundation matters here, and it shows you that a lot of the people. I don't know if you guys saw my latest short I put up as a joke, though. It's like whenever biblical creationists, Christians see the Bible depicting a flat Earth, how they react.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It's practically all I get, and I mean, this is also why I don't really get Christian Globers wanting to debate biblical cosmology. They always run away from us when it comes to the subject because they know they don't have scripture to back up their claims.
Right.
At the end of the day, they will just have to concede and say, okay, yeah, sorry, God lied. You know what I mean? That's practically it. And they don't want to be faced with that.
I know that.
Yeah, you saw how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
You saw our discussion with Dr. Hemp and how he basically had to revert to that. He had to claim the doctrine of accommodation and basically which says that God told the prophets an inaccurate description of creation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly that. So I'm saying, how do you, as a Christian, sit back and think, hang on, I'm calling God a liar over what man presents to me?
And that is terrible.
And the Bible specifically talks against that. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
And the other thing is that often Christians believe in the firmament, that dome. Secular
supposed
flat
to too.
earthers don't really care one way or the other if there's a solid dome or not. That they don't really read scripture, so they don't.
Okay, I just want to say the secular. This is what I was saying when I missed the secular part. But thing here, she says the secular Christians don't really worry if there's a dome or not. Actually, they do, because they understand you require containment to be able to breathe. So yes, they understand there is containment. What a time I stopped the screenshot though.
Yeah.
Their ideas from scripture. Instead, they're getting their ideas from their senses and the things that they observe.
Zippy Tippy, no, McToon is till this day has always been scared to debate biblical cosmology with me.
He's a Christian Glober. He's not a Christian anything.
Yeah, I would also like to put McToon's Christianity into question. The things that I've seen him say and do, and gone to Duffy's church to literally demonize the Bible, is not a Christian thing to do.
Don't you dare put that Jesus might have died for his sins onto him. And don't you dare put that onto
McToon. Yeah, exactly.
I would want to hear his testimony, like, how did you come to the Lord Christ? Christ Jesus. Like, tell me. I mean, it doesn't make you a Christian just for going to Sunday school as a child.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I was a Christian most of my life, but I wasn't a serious Christian until I became a teenager. Then I was actually a Christian, because that's when I accepted Jesus. Actually, you understand? Yes, gone to church my whole life, but that didn't make me a Christian.
Right. That's the defining part, is where you actually accepted Jesus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference.
And when you look outside, it looks like a dome. Right? It does. I mean, when you, like, I'm looking at the sky right now, and my perception is it's flat and then there's a dome, but I'm not that high up, and that's just my eyes being my eyes. Yeah. If I were to go to about 35,000
eyes, something that God gave you to use, just your eyes being your eyes, something that a sense that God gave you to use, just your eyes being your eyes.
But this is one thing I was trying to portray to some of the trolls in my chat today. It's like they're telling us we got the burden of proof. No, we don't. You don't observe Earth curve. You don't observe the Earth moving. You don't observe Earth open to space. Okay? What we do observe is a stationary, enclosed plane. Yeah. Now, you have to have faith that everything we observe doesn't fit reality. Okay. So the burden's on you.
Yep.
They don't understand that a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the positive claim, isn't it? They're claiming something's happening that we don't observe. So they've got the burden.
Exactly.
Then you can start to see the curve. So if you're
you
flying,
can't see curve at 35,000 feet. Just to let you know, it's not even on your globe model are you supposed to see curve at 35,000 feet. That's why I say she's probably watched McToon's nonsense with the Theodolite app on his phone. Oh, look. No, you don't see curve.
Look through the curved airplane window that warps the horizon.
Yeah, and then see it sits exactly the same when you're on the runway.
Yeah.
An international flight, for example, and they go way high, or some of the longer flights across the states, you're going to get high enough to see the slight curve.
It's like a curve. No. High altitude balloon footage that goes like 200,000 feet doesn't show curves. So why would you expect to show curve at 35,000 feet? Commercial airlines never fly higher than 35,000 feet about.
That's it.
Even your model shows geometry, you wouldn't be able to see curve at that altitude.
I remember as a young kid taking a flight, I think I was 6 or 7, from Minneapolis to Miami-Dade International Airport to go to Disney World. I had a window seat. I was looking right through the center of that thing, looking through the curve. I didn't see it. I was like, well, it's still got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, every time I've flown in a plane, even when I was a Globie, I can't ever remember saying, oh, look at that curve.
Yeah, she's reaching.
Flat earthers will argue it's just the windows that are, I mean, that's what they'll argue, because the shape of the windows that are indicating that there's a curve. For secular,
Yes.
Yeah,
you know,
them exhibitions are annoying me now.
yeah, she's overselling it.
Yeah, I know it's been pointed out. Yeah, definitely. I would have sussed it anyway, but you know, now it's been pointed out. It's annoying.
But I mean, doesn't she have any rebuttal to that though? She's just saying, "Oh no, they have an answer for that. It's just the windows." Great. So how are you going to rebut that though? You know, it doesn't just help to say, "Oh no, that's a dumb argument." It's the truth. Literally, the windows show that it curves the horizon due to the shape of the windows.
Yeah, your incredulity doesn't stand as an argument. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, like I said, according to your geometry alone, you shouldn't see Earth curves. So the fact that she's ignoring her geometry and saying, "Oh, look, guys, let's just ignore the fact that refraction is a thing. Let's just say no. We just don't accept your argument." Okay. Great rebuttal.
I'm not sure who she's talking
Flat
to that
earthers, the
claims you can
secret
see
lies-
curvature.
I don't know, but that's what I say. She's just. It's like she just doesn't really understand her own model, because in geometry you shouldn't be able to see it at 35,000 feet anyway.
This is just like a really bad look for someone who claims to be an apologist and researcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she studied apologetics, so she's not doing a very good job doing apologetics for the globe, to let you know.
I mean, I think it's a silly concept to get somebody to go out and do your research for you anyway. You know?
I don't think she did. I think they did it together,
No,
man.
of course.
I've watched several of Melissa's videos, and I just can't. I'm trying to figure out her angle, like why, because she tackles pretty controversial topics within Christendom, and she normally does a decent job. What turned me on to her was she did an expose on the Word of Faith movement, which I was kind of brought up in. I went to a Bible college that was a part of the Word of Faith movement, and I always felt like something was off, but that was like 25 years ago. I was still just a kid. And but now as I matured and read the Bible more, I realized how much was wrong with some of the stuff. And she did a really good job exposing that as well, and hitting on, very, nuanced points and points that require research, not just a superficial broad brush of the topic. So that's how I even knew about this lady. And then I've watched her on several other videos, and I was like, wow, she's doing a pretty good, thorough job. But on this one, it's like she just phoned it in like crazy. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why would you take this approach suddenly with this topic? And I have a theory. You guys can tell me what you think. I think she's already done an interview with Will Duffy, and she's about to drop that next. And this is leading up to Duffy revealing the documentary.
It was weird. It is weird because when I seen her talking, the TFE did come to mind.
Well, she mentions Will in this interview.
Okay.
She knows who he is. She's already spoken. So I just think that there's more going on here, and this was like a little softball introduction to her audience on the topic, and then she's going to come out with an actual interview with Duffy or something like that, or possibly Robbie Davidson or Patricia Steer or somebody like that.
I think all these people are linked for this. I think that's also why it's taking so long for this so-called documentary to come out, because they're wanting to show all these, ex-flat earthers in there. The same ones like Robbie Davidson saying, I led flat earth. It's like, no, you didn't lead anything, man.
You didn't lead anything, that is for certain.
So
except into a ditch, maybe.
Yeah, like even when Mark Sargent's leaving your conference, that's not the best thing.
Huh.
Like that basically says you don't have any solidarity within the movement, regardless of what you guys may think about certain individuals in the movement. Like if you're trying to put on a FE conference and some of your key speakers leave because they don't agree with how you're running the conference, that you remember that year that he let Logan Paul come in and make a mockery of everything?
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah, nobody respected Robbie Davidson as a leader of the Flat Earth movement.
But I mean, I've never really watched Robbie Davidson anyway because he gave me the creepy vibes. So I never really watched his, you know what I mean? So it's like when he says he was like leading Flat Earth, it's like, no, you just hold some conferences. That doesn't make you lead Flat Earth in any way.
It is really, really uncanny that he actually has the same look and hairstyle as the Illuminati card board game cards.
I always thought that too. Even when I moderate for him, I'm like, that is creepy, Robbie.
Yeah, almost like he's a made character. You know what I mean?
I know he's from Canada, but like Americans give Canadians a hard time. But it's like, bro, that's a hairstyle from like the early 90s. Why are you still rocking it? What's going on here?
Yeah, he's really stuck in it.
So like it's just such a weird like coincidence, if you put it like that. And I pray that it is a coincidence, because I've talked to Robbie personally and he's tried to tell me why he left the Flat Earth movement and why like he really felt it was more about just finding a home church that would accept him and his family so they could have fellowship. And
that's wrong though.
I know, brother.
The Bible also speaks about that. The Bible says, do not accept, you'll be hated for my name. So why
I know, man.
trying to, how can I say, leave truth to try and feel acceptance by man?
Yeah, it's fear of man. Fear of man.
Yeah. Yeah. There's when I used to do sales, there's like 4 different personality types that people relate to. And you're supposed to, like, when you're doing the sales, you're supposed to quickly evaluate the person you're trying to make the sale with and what personality type they are, so that you can adjust the information to them according to that personality type. And one of the strong personality types is called relational. And a lot of people, they don't care about the details. They don't care about the numbers. They don't care about whether the product will last them 5 years or 20 years. They just want to like you. They just want to feel like you like them and that you have something in common. And then they'll buy anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is true.
Even if it's a lie or a bad doctrine, they'll buy it from you because they like you. That's how their brain works. They're emotionally wired to accept
they kind
things.
of idolize someone.
Yeah, they want to feel included and accepted and loved, and it is right to describe it fear of men, but there's a technical definition for it in the sales field. It's called relational personality type.
Right.
Interesting. Somebody just asked me to bring up the schematics and stuff of the plane's windows because they say it's total nonsense. Well, if you actually look it up, you'll actually see. You see the different panes of glasses, and they even show you the convexity. You can see, look how it's curving due to the window because it's refracted. You see the structural glass cabin? You see?
Yeah.
It's got different panes, and that rounded glass gives you. It's like glasses, guys.
I mean,
it redirects the light.
The shape of the plane is in a tube, is in a cylinder. So obviously the windows ain't got to be flat. They're going to make it in the shape of the tube, the cylinder, aren't they? They've got to be curved to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's very telling with everything. But yeah, I do think that she's probably gonna be ending up on the whole TFE documentary, and that's why I said, it's not a coincidence to me that Will Duffy has so much connections, because he seems to just have a lot of connections with people everywhere, and that's not a coincidence to me.
With the government. They're the ones who are hiding the truth from us so that the elites can maintain control. This is not unusual. In fact, there is some overlap with Dean Odel's book and what secularists believe about the flat earth, right? Because Dean Odel also talks about Nazis. He talks about government control.
Wow, now she's trying to paint a negative light of his character.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people talk about Nazis. Lots of people talk about government control.
Yeah, but what has that got to do with the subject now? You understand? So she's poisoning the well. She's trying to make his character look like, oh, he's just a conspiracy theorist talking about all this. No. So you can't just trust what he says.
The times that government has lied to us, and that just perpetuates the secret idea.
See?
Who's hiding this from us? And then your question
I want to ask a question though to everybody. Has the government lied to us?
Yes.
Always.
So
When
why
has the
trust
government
them?
told us the truth?
In the United States, they literally are currently releasing the redacted JFK assassination files after like 50, 60 years. And that's it's in the news. It's talked about all the time. It's like they're literally admitting by releasing these files, oh, by the way, we know who the true killer was, and we've been lying to you this whole time.
So like the Warren Commission was a load of crap then.
Yeah, and in 70 years they'll do that with the 9/11 files too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Why is it? I've seen this a lot. Why is it that they trust the government so much, even though the governments are shown over and over to lie? It's like they got some kind of love for being dictated and lied to.
Yeah, here in the States we call that govern me daddy, govern me harder daddy.
It's also like a
it's a personality type. You're right, it is like Stockholm
it's
syndrome.
even here in South Africa. It's the same issue. I mean, the ANC have been in power for the last 40 years or something, and they've just been stealing out of their asses, going crazy, going as corrupt as possible. The same people that moan about them and saying they're stealing will go and vote for them again.
Yeah.
So it's just doesn't make sense. I don't trust them, but I'm gonna, support them. Okay, what the hell?
Why does it matter, right? Why does it matter if it is a flat earth? Well, for Christian flat earthers, or they'll call themselves biblical earthers, the answer is it's part of who we are as Christians. It may not be the number one salvific issue, but it is drawing us closer to God.
Why is she saying salvific issue? That's not even a word.
It is. They've been used. I mean, I thought that the other day, but a lot.
Really, salvific.
Salvific. Yeah, everybody's using it lately. I mean, I always say salvation issues. I mean, I never say salvific. But I've been hearing it a lot lately. Salvific. Yeah.
Salvific. The salvific power of the Lord.
I mean, it's been going about. I did a stream the other day and it came up, and I'm like, salvific. I've never had it put that way before, and now I've heard it again. It's about 3 times I've heard it now.
But there's no actual definition for it. It just says the salvific life of death of Christ. That's it.
I've never heard it until
having the intent or power to save or redeem. When was this actually becoming a word?
We make up all kinds of words over here.
Oh, it was first used in 2021.
There you go. That's why I didn't blooming know it.
So it's a very new word. Okay, that makes sense why I never heard of it before.
Yeah, because like I say, I only heard of it this last month, and I've been hearing it a lot. Well, 3 times, 4 times maybe.
So in other words, they kind of use it to sound smart.
Yeah.
I mean, just to say it like it is. It's not a salvation issue. Why is it a salvific issue? It sounds like you're busy having Tourette's or something.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a state of saliva.
It's letting us know truth. For secular flat earthers, I think it matters, and this is just mere speculation, but I think it matters because they want the truth and they feel like they're getting lied to all the time. And so if you live in a reality where perceived reality, where everyone is lying to you and you can't trust anyone, believing in a flat earth system and that you've been lied to.
What is with this? Really?
She likes her facial expressions.
It's like, this is so just not making sense to me.
I actually think she must have some pure lemon juice under the can, and
it's like, is there something in your eye?
She's dipping her finger in it now and again and tasting it just to get these expressions out. From drinking lemon juice. Mm-hmm.
It's like, take it a bit more seriously, really.
Since you were in 5th grade science makes sense. So I don't know if you care to know why it's popular now, but I have a theory and a little science on that if you're interested.
I am very interested. Linz, maybe give me your thoughts on this, but you and I have done a lot of work in mind control, like, yes. I don't want to use this word.
Not controlling people's minds, but
not
studying.
controlling people's minds. There's a difference between brainwashing and mind control.
Yes.
Brainwashing and mind control. By the way, brainwashing is a form of mind control. Yes, there's a difference, but it's a form of mind control.
Ephesians chapter 5, we're supposed to be washed with the water of the word, renewing our minds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always a bad thing. It just depends on whether it's truth or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, I've always said when I said, mind controlling someone's mind, hypnosis, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's bad. But I often said that when I was not with the Lord, then when I came to the Lord, and people said, you're just being brainwashed as well. My brain needed washing. You know what I mean? It was full of crap. So yeah, sometimes it's okay to say that.
Yeah, but I mean, you are brainwashed to believe it's a globe anyway. You are indoctrinated. You've been mind controlled, or what they like to say, a Jedi mind tricked, to believe you're on a spinning space ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, it takes a lot more faith to believe you're on a globe, though, than to just observe reality.
Oh, and I would call growing up as a child, where our brains were basically, they had a clean slate ready for information, and then the globe, religion comes along and basically brain taints us, is what I would call it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be careful when I use this word, but a lot of cults use a lot of mind control.
Yes.
And one of the things that is very, very useful and helpful is to make them very paranoid. You can't trust anybody but us.
That kind of sounds like projection. How do you guys treat flat earthers? You can't trust the flat earther. That flat earth is dumb. That flat earther never had any education. That flat earth is just a conspiracy theorist. That flat earther, you can't trust him because they're always just lying. That flat earther doesn't understand. Kind of sounds like projection to me, doesn't it?
It's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Weird.
Right.
We're the ones who won't lie to you when they're lying to you.
Yeah. Like the video you just put up that we're reviewing now. Where you're literally saying you guys never looked into flat earth, and then like Sean says, go and look at the history. You guys literally have flat earth content up.
When she's been looking at it for years, yeah.
Oopsie. That's why she's taking the sip of a coffee like that, by the way. It's called guilt.
Like, as they lie to you.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like trauma. There's a reason why people that come out of groups, high control groups, have a lot of trauma because they really don't know who to trust. It sounds like there's a very, very high degree in these groups.
Hey, Keith, real quick. What do you? So here's one of my speculative thoughts. If she is gonna promote or interview Duffy on this upcoming documentary, I would suspect that the documentary is going to take this approach that they're talking about right now, which is they're going to highlight Jaron, and they're going to highlight how he was attacked when he decided to change his opinion on the 24-hour sun and how it's a cult and all that kind of stuff. And that's why she's hitting it so hard from this angle in this video here.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. We've seen this from the beginning. They've been trying to paint Flat Earth as a cult, and if you leave the cult, you will be shunned and attacked, blah blah. But they don't show that Jaron has been called out way before TFE. You know what I mean? He's been called out.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that disagree with him, and I don't agree with the way he's handled himself. Even if he did just change his mind genuinely, I don't agree with the way he's handled himself in any regard.
I think that made it worse.
It definitely made it worse.
I think that's the reaction that he wanted, because look at when he came with his Christmas poem for Flat Earthers. I think that was what he wanted. He wanted the people to react the way they're acting now because it's for the documentary.
Well, you know that Elizabeth girl, she told me that when they were on the plane ride back from Union Station to Chile, that she was talking to Jaron, and he basically told her, well, when we get back home, you and Austin are going to be going a different direction in life than I am. So basically, don't be offended by whatever I say. Yeah, he'd already made his mind up. Like, I'm pretty sure he made his mind up before the trip even happened, honestly, because how much time he had spent talking with Duffy privately.
Yeah,
and so he was just calculating how can he keep himself alive, how can he keep his channel alive, and so he's got to get the shock jock value, because now the Globers are throwing money at him.
Yeah, remember the same people that were against him all this time and ridiculing him, and are the same people supporting him now. The same people that were supporting him all these years, he threw away. You know what I mean? So he's just changed his audience to a bigger audience now. That's it.
Yeah.
And now because he's the new golden boy, he's just seeing, hey, yeah, I'm getting money in now. You know what I mean? So he's just following where the money comes.
Aren't Jaron and what's it debating somewhere today or tomorrow?
Yeah, with the 33.
Oh, is it? Who's it? What channel are they debating on?
33rd. So I can find it quickly.
Just FYI, guys, I might be moderating that debate.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, we're talking about it this morning. I don't know if it's finalized yet, but we'll see if Jaron Witsit wants me to, but Jaron hasn't agreed to it yet. Now, you guys know that I was nice to Jaron after he came back.
Yeah.
And he still put me in as one of his little songs that he does to mock everybody in Flat Earth.
Okay.
And I've just been nothing but nice to him and showed him love.
Yeah, it's the Etheric Summit 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, June the 14th and 15th.
Oh.
Yeah.
2 days. Wow.
I don't think it's going to be a public summit. I think you got to pay. So I don't know how many eyes are going to get on that debate.
But it's usually this way with Jaron, especially.
Well, this particular summit is just produced by Austin.
Yeah, but like I said, and Austin, they're gonna let people pay, and then obviously later on probably release snippets or something. But
yeah, in my opinion, the debate they're going to have, they should do that for free on YouTube, publicly, live and in real time. They would probably get like 15,000 live viewers. It would be crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But if you do the moderate, that'll be quite cool, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because I want to start hosting debates on my channel in the future, so it'll be good practice to start moderating.
Definitely, yeah. You still got that app running.
Yeah, and the YouTube channel for it. So I want to start hosting debates on there as well.
Awesome, awesome.
Of distrust for authority.
Yes.
Yeah, for the government. I mean, it's the government, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
It's
But
the government, you know what I mean? And it's the government. Yeah. So you understand the government lies to you. So why trust them then?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why not say yeah that they're untrustworthy rather than just say, I mean, at least try give like some of the flat earthers you're talking about some credit. You know what I mean? That they're right not to trust the bloody government, because you know they're not right. That they shouldn't trust the government. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to give flat earthers credit at all.
one thing that keeps, yes, like what does it matter? Number one, and number two, if they wanted to control us by convincing us the Earth is flat or round instead of flat, what domino effect does that have to affect me?
Easy. You've already fallen for it. There's a lot of implications if you believe against what God created. We've already given a few examples of they can push anything on you that's perverted towards God's purpose for you in life.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a heliocentrist, you're halfway to being an evolutionist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, remember, God creates you for a certain way, okay? He created for you a certain purpose. Now, if you're taking a perverse view on that, you've already, in your foundational heart, thinking like, well, these guys, man, I'm supposed to trust them over what God says in his word. And then it's like, well, then God's a liar. Why should I trust him? Why must I be a Christian? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the Bible's false then, because the Bible says this, and well, these men, quote unquote scientists, say this. So who should I trust? So you're putting faith in man over God, first of all. And if you're trying to trust like the government who lies to you constantly, what does that tell you about your deduction skills? I mean, hello, you're just saying, yeah, I should trust someone who constantly lies to you. But but then you have an issue with people saying, well, I don't trust these people that are lying to me constantly. So you have an issue with people calling the distrust out, but you feel it's logically fine to trust the people keep on deceiving you. How does that make sense? So yeah.
On any level, when they could just do so much worse.
Right. I don't necessarily have an answer to that.
And what I want to say as well is the reason why the government does do what they do is because of control. Why wouldn't they want you to know it's flat? Is because, think about it. If it came out today that the government says, yeah, guys, sorry, we lied to you all this time, it is flat. Do you know the governments will collapse? There will not be any governmental control anymore. Everybody will literally just throw away government rule and say, well, why should we trust you for what you've done? Everything will collapse. So yes, there's a reason why they keep it quiet. So they're going to say, well, oh, you lied to us. You're going to space. We're spending all this tax money and all this going to space, which doesn't exist. Look at all this technology we're paying for. Look at this, what you're paying for. How do we know you're speaking truth about this? Literally, if the government had to come out today and say, yeah, sorry, guys, it is actually a flat earth, there would be no control whatsoever. There would just be chaos.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why they do it. It's called control for a reason. Government, governing the mind. Hence why they had the rollout of CV-19. Everybody has to stay in their houses with the masks on.
Mhm.
Yes, it was called a test. See who's compliant.
The old pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that a lot of people who believe in flat Earth also believe in other so-called conspiracies. I don't want to say everything's
See?
a
See what I'm
conspiracy
saying?
because
I was
it's
just gonna
not.
ask
You know what
But
I'm saying? They painting flat earthers as conspiracy theorists.
Mhm.
But that's just so nonsense. I know globies that believe in much more conspiracies than a lot of flat earthers I know.
Mhm.
So this is total nonsense.
I myself have dabbled in the research side of conspiracy theories. So like when I was in high school, this was my gateway drug into studying conspiracies. There was a secret society. There is. It's the Order of Skull and Bones. Have you heard of it? There's been movies and stuff made of it.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Charles?
Hey guys,
Hey,
what's up?
good to see you, bro.
And Skull and Bones isn't really a secret, though.
Yeah, it's not a very good
Not
case.
anymore.
Very well kept.
Wasn't Mr. Bush part of the Skull and Bones?
Certainly was. Certainly was.
Yeah. Weird, eh? The government
Senior,
president.
right? Senior.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Bush.
Oh,
And
Bush.
George.
And
George
Junior.
is also part of Skull and Bones, as far as I know.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, don't you find that odd? The government they're supposed to trust is part of a conspiracy fringe pact cult that you say you were studying against.
NASA takes what, $60 million a day from the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's nothing,
That now.
man. But that's nothing. It's just millions of people starving every day. But
Yeah.
no, that's nothing. Let's rather put that to make sure we can have some tin can going into a light show
They
and
spend
make
it
people
well.
think it's going to space.
They spend it well on helium and gold tinfoil. Come on. And Scotch tape. Come on. They need loads of Scotch tape. 60 million a day is not enough. They need more, guys. They need more.
Quite crazy.
Crazy stuff.
It shows you where their priorities lie.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, if they had to go, let's say all the tax that goes everywhere, there will be no poor people around. If all the tax in the world had to be given to everybody, there'll be no hungry people.
Mm-hmm.
But how will they be able to control anyone if no one is dependent on anything?
Exactly.
Why do you think the governments are so corrupt in making sure people are becoming poorer? Because they need to be dependent on the government, because they need you to be dependent on them so they can control you.
That's right.
Simple as that.
Yep.
You have to willingly being wanting to be subjected to be under that.
It's quite scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I was sort of obsessed.
Hey.
Right?
Huh.
And I started thinking like maybe there are secret societies everywhere. That sparked an interest in, the Masons. It's like, what are they doing behind closed doors?
Well, what do you think you just read Skull and Bones for? That's part of the Masons. Come on.
Right. Like, that's not a conspiracy anymore either. It's just a fact.
It's just exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Why do you think so much US presidents were linked to Masonry? It's because it's the brotherhood, man. They're all linked.
Showing their hidden hands.
Yeah.
You can see it in the artwork. Yeah, it's pretty scary when I'm teaching United States history and some of the forefathers. Their actual paintings have hidden hands.
Mm.
Napoleon had one.
Yeah.
George Mason had one.
Mm.
If you go to an art museum from the early, 17th or 18th century, you'll see their paintings. It's quite creepy. It's been around for a while.
Well, I mean, Washington.
Sorry.
I say Washington. Then were all in-your-face Masons. They were proud to be Masons.
Yeah. They say about Napoleon as well. They say that that's how he stood with his left hand inside of his jacket, wasn't it? Like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They say that's how he stood. Yeah. Who would stand like that just to be comfortable?
Fauci did that before a press conference in 2021, I think.
Wow.
You see the video, you can see him.
Of course.
Yeah, let's just keep laughing, though. It's real funny that they literally want to hide God and control us. Whew.
Well, they successfully done what they wanted to do because
they've done a number on us.
That's the reaction they get. So, yeah, they've successfully done what they wanted.
Yep.
I think people who believe in things like the flat earth never stopped thinking it was interesting and just started believing it. It's sort of like once you start believing.
Whoa! Flat Earth's not a belief.
Yeah, but what other thing is like the flat Earth? Believing in things like the flat Earth. What other thing is like the flat Earth? What other thing can you get that's like flat Earth? There's nothing else like flat Earth. So I don't know what that's meant to mean.
Yeah, that's
She looking in the right side of her face to make this up.
But like I say, let's look at this logically. Does anybody here observe a spinning Earth?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so it takes faith to believe the Earth's spinning.
That's right.
Does anybody observe Earth curve?
No.
Nope.
So you have to have faith the Earth's curving.
Once again.
Does anybody ever observe any pressure of gas pressure without needing containment?
Never.
No.
Nope.
We
Has
observe the
anybody
opposite.
has anybody observed an expansive universe that just goes on and on and on and on?
No.
Nope.
No.
You see, that's
You
what
gotta
I'm saying.
believe
Yeah, everything they push to us is literally a belief system from them. And then they want to say it's us. What's up, Sov? Good to see you,
What's
man.
happening, guys?
Yeah.
What is this actually? What's she going on about? This woman? 'Cause I was just talking to somebody about that. It was the government indoctrination of people that they, I caught something about she talking about skull and bones.
Oh yeah. She's like, oh, I was looking into it when I was in.
That was a gateway drug to his conspiracy.
Conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy analyst. Okay, there's no theory about it. There's obviously a conspiracy. We're just analyzing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're trying to point out how this chat they're having is very scripted.
Yeah.
And they trying to be very demeaning to flat earthers to make flat earthers kind of seem like we're not normal. We different kind of way, like
This is their latest. This is their latest tactic that they're throwing out there. They have absolutely no refutation to the arguments that are presented. So now, and I'm seeing it on Facebook too, they're not even putting stuff out there about the globe or anything else. They're putting out there, flat earthers are so stupid they can't tie their shoes and shit like that. That's all you got now, isn't it? That's all you've got.
Yeah.
You have lost.
I walk about with Velcro trainers and slip-on shoes all the time because I can't tie my laces.
And speaking of all that faith
The flat Earth.
Oh, sorry. But like Earth spin, Earth curve, or whatever, it's like if a person only has like a finite amount of faith, and they're shoving their faith in all these different areas that require belief that are false, there's a huge problem. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they want us to reject God's word and believe what man says.
That's right.
Ultimately, that's what it all boils down to.
That is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's a rejection of God
Mhm.
and acceptance of man. So they're idolizing man.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does boil down to
literally going against what the commandments tell you not to do.
I don't think are they consciously doing this, you think? I'm not there yet.
I think they were conditioned to do this. So
Yeah.
they've kind of been conditioned to accept it as the norms. So they don't see anything wrong with it.
Gotcha.
So their whole perception of it is, well, I don't see anything wrong with it because you guys are going against what science says.
Right.
Not understanding that science isn't not even part of this category.
She's rubbing her temple. Cognitive dissonance is kicking in. Yeah.
But look at her facial expressions when she talks. You can see this is like totally over the top.
Yeah.
Very dramatized.
Yeah.
The other conspiracies are easy to accept. But things like the government lying to us about Watergate, and the secrets of Watergate being uncovered back in the 70s, or the secrets of Vietnam, the secrets of, well, let's name modern ones. People claim that 9/11 was an inside job. I am myself not saying that. I am just telling you what people.
Why would you want to be associated with the government lying?
Yeah, you're not saying that. Of course you're not saying that.
Of course you wouldn't say that.
Oh,
why?
boy.
Because you trust what the government says.
Hmm.
But you understand what I'm saying? She's like literally playing the plausible deniability card here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, she can say, I was just naming these things. It's not like I really believed these things. I'm just trying to point out what the conspiracy theorist things are. No, you are trying to paint a picture that all flat earthers are just conspiracy theorists that just fall for any nonsense. That's not how it works. I can show you globers that believe in much more conspiracy theories than flat earthers. Are they flat earthers now? No, they're not. So that's total nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Solve, apparently you pissed some more people off on your last stream last night or something.
I did. Why? What happened?
I have no idea. You seem to have that effect on globies.
Yeah, and that tells me that I'm winning.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. What are they in the chat? I wasn't looking. I was responding to another troll.
Yeah.
I've got triggered about some shit. See, this is the thing. I love when they come in and haughtily say, science, stupid flurf. I'm like, great, let's discuss the science. Show me the science behind your claim of an open thermodynamic system with fluid pressure. Go ahead. Let's see the science behind that. Can you reconcile that? Can you tell me how your spectroscopy isn't wrong? You look at the sun with your spectroscopy and it tells you that it's made of hydrogen? Wait a second. That would be impossible because you cannot get a volume of gas to gather together without a physical container. So what does that mean? That means that your test is wrong. If you took a blood test and the blood test came back and said that you had 40 weight motor oil for blood, would you believe the test, or would you think that there was something wrong with the test because it's impossible for you to have 40 weight motor oil for your blood? Of course, you're going to doubt the test, of course, because it's only logical.
Yep.
You don't think.
I don't think they understand how logic really works.
No. They've traded in place of unicorn stickers and gold stars on a chart for memorizing and regurgitating some bullshit and somebody saying, you're smart for saying what I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Sav, do you have anyone making clips for you?
What do you mean?
Because you need someone to make clips for you and post them on TikTok and IG. You go viral, brother.
I think so too.
Yeah, not at the moment. The only people that make clips about me are trolls, and they're pretty dismal. I don't watch them. You know, I'll see so and so mentioned you in a video, and I'm like, well, good for them. I hope that makes their life happy. You know, whatever.
Yeah, we've got like dedicated channels to us, so
yeah.
It's amazing that they haven't gone over to TikTok with that yet.
See, this is what blows them away. They've not met somebody like me. I'm a Sigma. I don't give a shit. Go ahead, say whatever you want to. Have fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't affect me. It doesn't stop my course. It doesn't slow me down. Not a bit. I don't care. Never have.
Yep.
People will say the moon landing is frequently added onto the list, that it didn't.
My wife says the moon landings are nonsense. She's a glober. I know quite a lot of globies that say the moon landings are nonsense.
Apollo detectives. There's a great
Apollo
example.
detectives too, yeah.
He's not on that flat Earth at all, but he'll show you every bit of evidence that the moon landing was fake. I can tell you that.
Yep. You see, this is a very desperate ploy to try and just paint a false narrative on flat earthers.
Really happen. So if the moon landing didn't happen, did we even go into space? What is space really? And once you've just gone down that path,
that's a logical
adds
reason.
and adds and adds, and it's just.
It is a logical reason, exactly.
It's logical reasoning. I equated it saying, wait a minute, go to the moon. That was one of the second or third questions I was asking myself in my awakening.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I say. It's the same as the question they should be asking to themselves every day. Hang on, if the government's lying to me, maybe is it logical to literally just agree with everything they say? Should I trust what they say? The logical answer should be no.
No. It's built on the foundation of lies. Now that we know. Jeez.
What crazy.
Should be skeptical of anything they say.
Based on what you just said too, and I'm reading the chat, somebody feel free, make clips. If you want to, feel free, make a channel out of it if you want to. That sounds good to me, man.
They're saying you're blaspheming Jesus somehow.
Oh, well, you know, it's also said that you're not supposed to judge people, so kiss my ass. How about that?
But I mean, I don't understand what they don't understand. Solve, are you a Christian?
I am a disciple of the Nazarene. I'm ashamed to call myself a Christian just based on the behavior of most Christians.
There we go. There's your guys' answer. And does God judge you or do they judge you?
God does.
There we go. Thank you. So now people can stop demanding me to do anything on Solve. He's his own man.
Have I directed any of that toward any of you? No, I haven't directed it. I've not treated it with malice, have I? No, not at all. Just your little Sunday school interpretation of what you think. You need to wake up, man.
That's the funny thing.
We're all an expression of the infinite possibility that's created by God. We are an expression of God, the infinite possibility, each and every one of us. He made all of us different, okay? And if I tell his message a certain way to get through to certain people, that's what has to be done. That's what I was created this way for. If I'm not acting in malice and aggression unwarranted against somebody, then what's the problem?
You're not acting in malice anyway, so I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah. Shame. Poor guys. Okay, but like I said, the people in chat don't even know the Christian doctrine, yet they want to pray, they want to tell us about it. It's quite sad.
Everyone in the world is lying to you, which seems like a really hard place to be as a human being. where we distrust everything that we see. So the main question, I guess, is who do they trust? If you can't trust,
who do I trust? God.
That's right.
Yes. Good.
There we
It's
go.
not about
Who do we
mistrusting
trust?
everything we
God.
see. We distrust things that show that to be distrustworthy. We don't distrust everything we see. We still have air conditioners, indoor plumbing. We still drive our cars around town. We still pay our taxes. It's about things that have proven themselves to be distrustworthy or untrustworthy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Romans
this is
3:4.
the blanket. It's kind of like a blanket demonization here of just, oh, these people are irrational. These people are unhinged.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's take for instance Romans 3:4. Let God be true, but every man a liar.
Mr. Jingles said, "Stay in school, kids." No, yeah, go ahead and attend, but don't let it in, man. Really, it's one of the dumbest things I ever heard. If you want to be smart, stay in school. No, school is not a place for smart people. I'm sorry, it is not. It is not. It's obedient school for humans. That's all it is.
Yeah, was Paul an unhinged conspiracy theorist when he said, "Test all things, prove that which is true"?
Exactly.
Well said. Yeah.
But that's the funny thing. I mean, I don't know if you've heard of that pig slapper oik dude.
Oh,
He's one of those
He's made a
fringe
lot of
Christians.
videos about me.
tags me
He
in.
literally says Paul is an antichrist. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Don't trust Paul. You know what I mean? Wrote most of the New Testament, but don't trust him.
No, don't trust Paul.
Well, how about just Genesis? Genesis itself says the entire world came together to build a tower in defiance to God so that they could usurp God's authority. It sounds like a conspiracy to me.
Look here, liar, liar, church on fire says Sav calls him the Nazarene because it's part of him denying that Jesus was ethnically Jewish. That's absolutely right. Jesus was not Jewish. He was a Nazarene. In fact, he was more closely associated with the Essene. Okay? Why don't you learn your own shit before you start talking?
His bloodline actually came from Cain.
I don't know what to tell you there, buddy. In fact, there was nobody even mentioned anything about a Jew to the 16th century, so stop.
Yeah, they were called Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We just say Jew. We just say Jew today for the common man to understand who we're talking about.
Hebrews.
Hebrews, yeah.
And Shebrews. I don't want to get anybody upset.
You don't get Vebrews as well, do you?
I don't want to get canceled, you know.
trust the government and you don't trust scientists because scientists are the people who are maybe getting paid by the government or entities who are getting paid by the government to do.
No. You can't trust scientists because scientists have nothing to do with it. There's no such thing as trust in science.
That's right.
Trust is just science is just a method.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it. Scientists are just the people placing that method into action. If you go and trust them, you are literally into pseudoscience because then it has become subjective, not objective.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a real scientist, a real one, doesn't require your trust. They don't require your faith. So what? It's backwards.
Research, and maybe you don't understand what scientists do for a living. I'm married to a scientist, so I'm fairly intimate with how scientific research is done. I've got a lot of friends who are in science fields and really brilliant humans that I
probably some Michelle Feller astronomy. Maybe Michelle Feller is one of her friends. Did she tell you that you come from stardust? You're a cousin from a rock.
Yeah. I have an aunt that's a strawberry.
Yeah. That's some science there, you know.
Oh, absolutely. When a whale and a pine tree are related, it's just
Because I can guarantee you, if you have to ask any of these people what is actual science, they're not going to be able to tell you because they only parrot the how can I put it, the colloquial narrative pushed by media. That's it. They don't actually know what science is.
No,
They think as soon as a scientist says something,
that's it.
therefore it's science.
That's it, right there.
It's a religion too. Science is a religion. It's
Yes.
definitely a cult.
Scientism, yes.
Scientism, yeah.
And that's also what I want to bring up, because the fact that they choose science, quote unquote, pseudoscience over God, is another reason why the globe lets people fall away from the faith.
Yeah. Yeah, because it starts that path down the metaphorical reading of the Bible, or maybe they made it this way, maybe that way, and then you're open to interpretation, and that path. You start to divide yourself from what's truth and what's man-made.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing's trying to get you sucked into the world.
Yes.
That's what you got to constantly be on guard against, is being sucked into the world.
That's right. When Jesus said, you're in the world, don't be of it.
That's right.
That's right.
I love the projection from this comment. No one on this panel has a clue about what science is.
Yeah, right, Wesley. You're the one that thinks it stops at hypothesis. Still
remember
when
we had them on last time, and it's like, okay, let's go through the hypothesis for gravity. He couldn't even literally articulate what a hypothesis was.
Jesus. They just think that using the word science makes them sound smart. No, it's science. No, it's not. It's your dumb idea with no science to back it up. Where's your experimental data to verify your hypothesis? Huh? This is why I say there's no that astronomy is not science. Outside of observation, what do you have? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's 1,000 years ago, men were looking up at the sky, at the stars, and telling stories made up about the stars. And here in 2025, they're still looking up at the stars and making up stories about what they see. None of it ever verified. None of it ever been proven. Nothing. And not one of them wonder, how come I can focus in on this star and all of them are in focus? What the hell? That would suggest that they're what? At the same distance.
Yeah, has anybody ever heard of the infinity plane when it comes to cameras? That means because it's the same distance, the same plane. But they never think of that, do they? No, we're looking into the past. We're looking into the past, man.
Oh, yeah. It's the little things. It's the little things that people disregard. And, a common phrase, the devil is in the details. And surely it is. Because these are the things that they just gloss over. Oh, look at this instead over here. It's like the magician with his pretty assistant, right? There's a reason there's a scantily clad woman up there on the stage with the magician. She's the distraction.
Misdirection.
Yeah, it's misdirection.
Yes. And so they don't even
None of
think
these ladies are distracting me.
The only thing that's distracting me from them is their really, really over the top facial expressions.
Oh, I know. Yeah. She's certainly putting it.
The eyebrows are just driving me nuts.
Overacting, like silent movies. They had to do that in silent movies to get the point across because there was no audio. That's why you'll see exaggerated facial expressions, and this is how you can tell bad actors. They over exaggerate everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Chaplin had these huge eyebrows.
Yeah.
So you could see that move up and down.
If you ever watched Grandpa Munster, now Grandpa Munster came from the
him.
silent era, okay, on the Munsters TV show.
I remember that show.
And if you notice, he really moved his mouth a lot like this when he talked, so that it would be real easy to read his lips. That was habit from in the silent era.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's why he looked like that when he talked, is because it was a carryover from the silent era of film.
Sweet.
Imagine if I made a video with the title, I investigated physics for 1 month. Here's what I found. And then try to speak like an aficionado on this. Or I investigated the Catholic Church for 1 month. Here's what I found. And then all the Catholics would come after me because I would be so in over my head and so many historical details so many things that I could not cover in a little brief summary, and definitely couldn't even discover even with a month. Here's the craziest part. This lady is a professor at a college while she's doing this research supposedly for the last month. So
but like you said,
during finals at a college. So like
and what's odd is, like you said, it comes out later that she has looked into Flat Earth before, because there's literally content about Flat Earth on her channel.
No, that's the lady on the right, but the lady in the blue dress
Melissa.
on the left, yeah, she's the one claiming that she spent a month researching this while being an active professor at a college during finals month, which is the last month of the season. Yeah, claiming and then in the comments of the video, Melissa had to pin a comment because she was getting ratioed so badly in the comments. She said that the girl in the blue dress spent hundreds of hours researching this.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the thing. Where did she get time? Where did she even get time to read Dean Odel's book? Dean Odel's book alone will take a month to read.
She complained about it being 400 pages. That's what I'm saying, is that she watched the Mark Sargent interview. She watched the Dean Odell Greg Locke debate. She watched Behind the Curve on Netflix, the hit piece, and she skimmed through Dean Odel's book. And that's not hundreds of hours of research. It's 7 or 8 at most.
But that's what I'm saying. It's everything she's presenting seems to me like, when a person starts researching Flat Earth and you type in Flat Earth and all that comes up is the same nonsense.
So let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's say Melissa Dougherty is not lying and that her friend did spend hundreds of hours researching this. Why would she only portray it as if, she only spent a month looking into this and here's what she found? Why not just say she investigated Flat Earth and here's what she found? I don't understand. I don't understand the way all this is being framed as if like, you don't have to look into this too long. Just takes a month, cursory superficial look, and you can see that they're all crazy and it's dismissible.
But that's exactly it. You hit it on the nail on the head there. They are trying to, how can I say, demonize Flat Earth to make it look like, guys, don't waste your time. I got a professional to waste your time so you don't have to. Look how quick she could get it. Yeah. Look how quick she could do this. Flat Earthers are not normal.
Stop the conversation. They want to stop the conversation.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's growing.
Yeah, they're trying to character assassinate, if you will, Flat Earth. Yeah. Because it's all they have. They have no rebuttal to anything. So the only thing they can do is make Flat Earthers look like they are subhuman, like they're not really normal, and you shouldn't look into it, or you're going to be part of the stigmatization of those people, which is, do you want to be part of that dumb group? Do you want to be part of that uneducated conspiracy theorists? That's exactly what they're trying to make it look like.
How do you watch Behind the Curve and then not mention Jaron once in this breakdown?
Right.
Jaron, one of the biggest flat earthers for 10 years until recently, right? How do you do a summary overview of the community, its key beliefs and characters, and watch a video about one of its key characters who they highlight in the video and then not even mention him once?
Which is odd, because you would think she would at least mention it.
She would mention it that, I just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't think she mentioned, I think they mentioned the flat earth and that some of them have changed their mind, but she doesn't actually say him by name. And to me, that's just kind of like, you're saying Dean Odel's name, you're saying Mark Sargent's name, but you're not saying other key characters like that are very prominent in this community and talk about this stuff and have a ton of content to review. But she's not pointing them to that. She's pointing them to a pastor who says Satan put a fake sun in the sky.
Well, that's also one thing. I mean, if you read behind the lines, she is trusting a pastor like Duffy, who's literally proud of being deceptive. And now these kind of things they bring up, doesn't that tell you where their priorities lie? I mean,
I really believe, like, again, it's just speculation, but if Duffy did contact Melissa and is planning an interview for the release of the documentary, it's a big channel. Melissa will probably bite on it because it'll be good views for her, and it's just easy promotion for Duffy. And she's not going to research his history. She's just going to take it at face value. But, oh, you're a pastor? Oh, you try to disprove this? Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? So yeah, we should keep other people from falling into this rabbit hole. Yeah, that's the good thing to do. I could see that being an easy conversation for Duffy with her.
And that's why I say this video she's put out now is probably just laying the foundations for that, because if it does come to that and he comes up, she can say, yeah, remember I had this conversation and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of primering the audience to not get bamboozled if that does happen.
I don't know what somebody, you really want to look into it. You want to be genuine. You don't need to take a month. You want to get started, watch 200 proofs. Go ahead. That's all you have to do. I turn that to people all the time. I say, just watch this and then just tell me what you think. And then,
yeah, does she mention Eric Dubé's name? I don't remember her mentioning Dubé even.
No,
I haven't heard it. No.
I mean,
if you guys go to her video, a ton of people are dropping my name in the comments that she should interview me about this, but I highly doubt she will. I even left a comment telling her I would gladly speak with you and give you a perspective of someone that believes in the Bible and believes in the flat earth. And I highly doubt she's going to respond.
Yeah, why not explore perspective from people like yourself that are pretty knowledgeable about it and have studied it for a while?
Yeah.
Did you review this, Sean? Didn't you review this video?
Yeah, I
Yes,
did.
you did.
And that's the point I brought up as well, is like in her previous videos on her channel, the very discipline that got her popular is that she actually went and interviewed people. She went to conferences of a specific denominational teaching to be there, to experience it, to get a firsthand account of what they're teaching and what they're saying, and recorded it or documented it in a trustworthy way. It wasn't just like, oh, I got some friend in Iowa that I asked to look into this for me and let's hear what she has to say.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So it's very, very weird. She didn't reach out to anybody in the community. I mean, Dean Odell would have interviewed with her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Although
Yeah,
he's
but
running
that's
for
also the
lieutenant governor.
thing. If you're really looking into it and you're really honest about it, don't you think she would have got both perspectives?
Yeah.
Why just decide, okay, let me just take this person, which I consider a friend then, but fine. She's very busy, but yeah, just research it for a month for me and then get back to me on this. Instead of just like, well, why don't we contact one of the flat earthers too and see what they have to say about this,
Yeah.
I don't know who mentioned her eyebrows, but I can't stop staring at her eyebrows now.
That was me.
They look like Bam Bam's club from the Flintstones.
I don't know, man. I think there may be some Vulcan or Romulan in there somewhere, man.
Yeah. That's right.
The lady on the left has no eyebrows, and then Melissa has these meat chops.
Yeah. Michelle stole them from her. Her eyebrows. Oh, that's too bad. I wish.
I would love to just like get into their brains for a day and absorb some of their knowledge.
No, you don't. You don't want
They
to.
talked about the scientific method, right? And how it happens. They come up with a hypothesis and then they test it and then they come up with a conclusion, which may or may not align with their hypothesis. The thing that we're seeing with flat earthers in particular.
That's false.
What?
I was trying to figure out if that's what she's saying flat earthers do, but no, that's not how the scientific method works.
No, I don't. And I just warn her, my mind's like a bad neighborhood. Don't go there alone.
Let's just quickly break it down for her. First, you're going to observe a natural phenomena. Okay, then you're going to do research on that natural phenomena. Then you're going to create your hypothesis and then your prediction. And then you're going to create an experiment. And then you're going to go and have data and analyze it. And then it gets peer reviewed. Full stop. What's so hard to understand that?
I'm wondering, why does Wesley watch this?
Because Wesley's the secret flat earther, man.
It must be. It can't be for fun, because he seems to just spend the entire time angry, and I don't understand why he even comes here.
Well, let's put it this way. All the anti-flat earth trolls kind of things in the chats here love flat earth deep down. They just can't get over their ego to accept it and be humble enough to say, yeah, guys, I was wrong. I believe nonsense. So instead of just, throwing the ego and pride away, they'll come here and project their insecurities onto flat earthers. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that they will come in and run an experiment, and if the conclusion does not align with their hypothesis, something went wrong.
Oh,
No, then it's a null. Then you
Like Cavendish? Oh, you didn't have it set up correctly. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Like
What's
Morley,
FTC?
Aries failure?
Yeah, exactly. What is FTFE's word? If it didn't work, it wasn't set up correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Always excuses.
But yeah, Aries failure, perfect. That's it also. Aries failure didn't do what they wanted it to do. Cavendish didn't do what they wanted it to do.
Hey, Saab, did you know there's another Cavendish type of experiments they tried to do in like Norway next to a mountain?
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah, I heard
it was in
about
the 1800s. I can't remember
Yeah.
the name of it, but it was
The
like they
Schehallien.
sat out there for like 3-4 weeks trying to see if this this rod would lean
It's
towards a mountain.
Yeah, the Schehallien experiment.
Yeah, that's
They
it.
took like a tent and they took a thing and they're like, you see, it started going closer to the mountain, and then they were able to calculate the mean density of the mountain. And so you see, there we go, gravity, mass attracts mass. And
Did you know that in their calculations they assumed the radius of the Earth?
yes, they did.
And
You know
that's the
how
only
you
reason
send
it
them
worked.
into a tizzy with that shit? They say, well, mass attracts mass. Oh, really? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
But also, I don't know if you guys know they did a modified version of that. I think it was in the early when was it? I think the 1970s or 1980s, where they actually took a laser type of phenometry where they went up there and with two little lead balls inside. Also, a pendulum, swinging on a pendulum inside that little box. I just got to find that. And then they tried it and it gave total different results.
Why don't I weigh more at the top of a mountain if there's more mass pulling on me?
Yeah.
The only time mass attracts mass is at a high school dance.
Well, and the thing is if
Why do you
mass,
think I got 4 children?
if mass attracts mass, why?
Why?
Does
What
mass
force
attract-
is it? What? There's
What?
an imaginary force. That's the problem.
If I set up 2 cranes within close proximity of one another, and they've got a ball on the end of their cable, how long before they start swinging because the gravity pulling to them and then they go out and go back? How long before they start drawing together? It's never going to happen, man. Never.
I really hope I can do Cavendish 2.0 this year. Really, really do hope so.
Well, Sav, that's because you got to have that mechanism that actually initiates the first motion.
The torsion dynamic. Yeah.
The one that they have to tinker with just to get it to work.
Right. I remember, I think our a physics teacher in high school, he was trying to set that thing up and he couldn't get the damn thing to work. He got mad and chucked the shit across the room.
Nice.
Okay.
And with the experiment or whatever, there are a few examples that come to mind. In particular, we're going kind of all over the place right now. So give me a question about what you really liked to know about in that little section right there.
Okay, yes. 2 questions on this. Number 1, kind of a backtrack question. It's not
Why are you looking down at your notes? I thought you didn't know. It's like, that means this was discussed.
Yeah.
She's looking down at notes.
Pen in the hand, yeah.
She wasn't really writing anything, by the way, if you were looking at her facial expression in her hands the whole time. She just got the pen in her hands. She wasn't writing anything.
Yeah.
Think I didn't notice that? Weird.
not a very good secret if we all know about it, right? Like with the government, like these things got leaked. You can look at the like
Sure.
Watergate, all the things. I'm like, okay, well, you guys didn't do a very good job. I mean, because everybody found out.
Right.
Is there any documentation showing from the government that they're hiding this, that this is something that they're that you know? Did you come across this in your research? And then I have a follow-up question in regards to what you just said.
It depends on who you talk to, whether there's evidence that the government is lying to us.
You just literally gave it, Watergate.
Wow.
You literally just gave you evidence that they're lying to us, and they're saying, is there any evidence that the government lied to us?
Which is a picnic compared to the other lies.
But
Well,
do you
listen to
understand
what
I'm
she
saying?
started
What's
this
the
off.
irony?
Yeah, her setup for this is so unbiblical. She's like, oh, what? So this is a conspiracy that they just couldn't keep hidden, or how do they keep this hidden? I mean, we literally have Christ himself in Luke 8:17. He says, "For there's nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, nothing concealed that will not be made known and brought to light."
Right.
So,
Mark
come on
4:22
now, what are we
as well.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
But also though, don't you find it odd because Melissa actually has a Christian channel, okay? Why is it she hasn't once brought up scripture yet?
Well, there's a lot of Christian channels that just are cultural commentary, and they don't really teach or reference scripture a lot. They're just like, they're Christian, and they're influencers who are Christian, put it like that, versus trying to actually promote the Bible and teach it.
Okay, that makes sense. Not that I agree with that.
Right.
And I mean, because she is, how can I say, promoting a channel as a Christian-based channel.
Right. And this is the big cognitive diss amongst Christians in this topic is like, it reveals your worldview, your base hermeneutic for all of reality. And it reveals whether it's scripture or the world's opinion, and this is why it's such a difficult topic for Christians. The world can just blow this topic off because they're deceived about it. They don't even believe they're created. So it's like, what do they care? But for a Christian, it's like, hey, what are you talking about, man? You got all this description in the words of the God that you claim to serve, describing how he made you, where he made you, what it's like, and you're just dismissing all of that. Like, I don't think Moses would have taken kindly to that. I don't think any of the prophets, Isaiah, Zechariah, Christ himself, that's the hilarious, ironic part about all this is everyone in the Bible already had a biblical cosmological firmament closed reality understanding. So that's why it was never debated.
Right.
It never came up as like, oh, why do you believe that? No, it was just straight up not debated because they all believed it already.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I always want to bring up to the people. Like they're saying, well, when Jesus was there, the reason Jesus didn't correct anybody was because everybody already knew the shape.
There wasn't nothing to correct.
Yes,
yeah, no one challenged it. Yeah, I mean the Babylonians believed the firmament was made out of bricks. The Egyptians literally, there's an 18th century BC document called the Book of the Heavenly Cow, and the word cow is actually a synonym for the firmament. So in that writing, and it talks about how Ra attached his home to the firmament, to the back of the cow, and that's where he lived above mankind because he was afraid of mankind, and he was also afraid of the gods who lived above the firmament. This is in the Egyptian writings, and they all knew where they lived. This is why they called the firmament an actual gut name. It was called Nut, the god of the firmament.
Wow.
Very, very common knowledge throughout literally 99.99% of history.
Of ancient, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get people like Dean Odell who will take all of these, so there's, there are images of documents throughout his book where he claims that scientists are doing research using the flat earth model.
The source material for this, where did he get it from?
Yeah, that's a great question.
NASA.gov.
The Bible.
Magnetic fields over a magnetic earth, a flat earth. They fly planes.
He does cite to a lot of things. But honestly, it's difficult to follow his book. It is 400 pages, and he does
his book. Maybe because you didn't read it.
difficult. It starts on page 1 and ends on page 400 and something. It's
Yeah,
not
maybe because you didn't read it. That's why it's difficult to follow. Because if you look at his book, he actually gives you the context of what you're reading at a certain page. So when you're looking at the index, that's what a book has, an index. It literally tells you the title and it tells you what's written in there, and usually have an abstract as well. It's not hard to understand what he's written because he usually tells you what it's written and then he gives you the information written there. So I don't know what's so hard to follow. So like when he has something written in there, like Joshua 10, where God stopped the sun from moving, and he gives the whole argument of why this doesn't fit a globe.
Mm-hmm.
It gives everything. You know what I mean? There's nothing to really not to follow there.
So weird. It's like she's just covering.
Yeah.
She's protecting the lie. It's weird.
It's gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Does have footnotes, bless him, because a lot of people who
So it has footnotes. So then you just went against your word. So it can be kept to know what's going on because of footnotes. So it's not all over the place.
And she's a college professor?
Yes. Well, she did write an Christian apologetics book that has no apologetics in it. So
write books like this do not include where they're getting their information from.
You don't need to say all the time where you get your information from. Has anybody read books here and they've put information and they don't tell you where they get all the information from?
No, I mean, even fiction, they research certain things, certain topics, so they can get the story straight within fiction. They don't put in where they did all the research from, and even that, you know what I mean?
But I mean, let's go to school quickly, and you get a textbook, and there's information in there. Does that textbook tell you where all that information came from? No. So why does Dean Odell need to take 400 pages and make it 800 pages just because you want to know where he got everything from?
I know, right? Citation, please. Citation, please. These little bastards, I can't stand them.
Yeah, and I mean, I can guarantee you, if you really just be honest with yourself and actually research the things written in his book, you'll be able to find the source yourself. Or you can just ask him, hey, Dean, I've read your book. Can you please give me the source for this? And I'm sure he'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're trying to make it sound like he's making things up.
Yeah, spent a month researching it. You could have spent 2 minutes calling him or emailing him. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it's quite sad. Yes, Bev, science papers have to cite, but his book is not a science paper. It's called a category error.
Propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. Okay.
Okay, so he has cited to where he's getting it from. The problem is context. For me, he is coming at it from a very biased perspective of he wants to prove that the flat Earth is real. So he's looking for anything that might indicate that there's a flat Earth. He pulls up.
His book is literally about God created a flat Earth. So your argument is he shows, yeah. So your argument is
proofs.
Yeah. So her argument is he's written a book showing why God created a flat Earth. He's citing where he got information showing that's what it means. Saying, well, that's a bias because he's showing backup for what he claims.
And then he tested it in
Yeah.
the Gulf. He tested it in the ocean. He literally was conducting tests. I'm sure there's a chapter on that. She'd read the index.
But how is that an argument? It's like, dude, you got a 400-page book. It's all over the place. Oh, but you got footnotes telling me that everything. And then you don't cite things. Oh, but in your footnotes, it does cite what we're using. It's just a lot of doublespeak. And then now saying, well, I see this bias because you're literally backing up your arguments that you're making.
Yeah. And what's with all this proofs? What's with all the proofs? What's that all about? No.
How in the world do you literally see this as a bias? If someone gives an argument and then they give cites to back up their argument, that's not having a bias. That's just backing up your argument.
But then she says the problem was context, but you haven't said why. Why the
But that is context.
Yeah, exactly.
From MIT. He pulls up some research that was done, I think in 2006. And the student who was doing this research mentioned the flat earth model in the research that he was doing. And for D Nodal, that was evidence that it's a flat earth. So again, not a scientist. I don't exactly know, but I think the math on flat earth is a little easier than it is on a spherical earth because you're dealing with other things. And I'm guessing that scientists will frequently
What is she talking about?
I really don't know. Okay.
But what has the math got to do with science? She's all over the place. It's like she can't really coherently bring an argument.
Me and Michelle have the same facial expressions right now.
What are you saying?
What exactly are you talking about?
Do you have a pen pressed against your nose too?
Yeah, I might have one. I don't like what she's saying, so I'm going to just twist and because he believes this and I don't. That's pretty much what she's saying.
Yep.
Well, she's the one with the bias.
Right.
Yeah.
Use different models to kind of experiment, not because they're going in unbiased. So they're trying to figure out all of the
Michelle's
different explanations regarding physics and whatever else is involved.
It looked like she just made a tick though, so not really. Right. Just look quickly. Look at what you look at. Look quickly.
Scientists will frequently use different models to kind of experiment.
How much more time do we have?
Because they're going in unbiased.
Right. Okay.
So they're trying to figure out all of the different explanations.
Facial expressions don't make sense to what her mate's saying at all. I mean, they're just facial expressions. They're not making sense to what. I mean, she's looking as though she's confused or thinking or something. You know, it's just like she's just talking. She's just talking. It's like, what's with all the facial expressions?
Professor's looking right. Yeah. Hey, PJ, see how she's looking right again? Grabbing some imagination.
So yeah,
what is he doing with that pen?
That pen is going
regarding physics.
It almost went to a place.
Right. Yeah.
And whatever else is involved, especially with space. And so scientists are usually not tied to their hypothesis.
False. A scientist is specifically tied to the hypothesis. Literally tied to the hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
When the hypothesis is shown false, they make a new hypothesis. Then they are tied to that hypothesis.
This is so ridiculous. The shit how bad. I just had a guy tell me. He said he knew the Earth was a globe because he's been in a sailboat.
Oh,
navigated.
Nice.
And he says he's experienced it and by sailing. And I said, yeah, I experienced it. Once we get to the horizon, it's all downhill, right? And then he says, I have seen astronauts in space.
Oh,
I'm like, no, you have not ever seen astronauts in space. You saw actors on TV. Okay? I have seen astronauts in space. What in the hell? People are so easy.
Mm-hmm.
They are so easy.
Yep.
I mean, I bet this one right here just amazes the shit. Oh, look, my thumb is gone. I just pulled it off my hand.
No blood.
I saw Han Solo on the Millennium Falcon.
I know. I saw the planet Alderaan be destroyed.
Yeah, I did.
No, he's here. Is that really? You really have Chewbacca? I know you do because I heard him on the internet. Good God, I feel so good.
That wasn't my Chewie.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
They want to test it, and then if it is shown that their hypothesis was not correct, they will verify again. They'll run the experiment again. Often experiments are run over and over and over again. The thing that I've noticed with...
So they are tied to the hypothesis then? Literally going against what you just said.
But what is she straining about? What is she thinking about that's making her make these facial expressions? Why is she in so much pain?
I don't know. Maybe it's trying like some kind of way to try and get people's attention to her facial expressions instead of listening to the nonsense coming out of her friend's mouth. I don't know. Because let's face it, this is nonsense.
Well, she's talking, she's doing the expressions, so that they've both got partners. So.
Some of the flat earther experiments is it doesn't seem like they're either willing to do the experiment or...
Wow.
Says who?
Did she just say flat earthers aren't willing to do experiments?
Yeah,
literally,
flying.
Flat earthers are kept on, how can I say, being ridiculed for doing experiments wrong in their opinions. Why is it being wrong? Oh, because it gives, how can I say, data that shows against the globe. So whenever the data shows against the globe, then the flat earther didn't do science properly. It only does properly when it shows for what the globe believes. Wow. What was the last textbook I read? I don't know, because I wasn't in school for like 18 years now. It's a bit difficult to remember what book I last read in school. Can anybody remember what book they read 18 years ago?
Oh.
A textbook for, I mean, really?
No.
No, not really.
It's like, what?
I've been reading this silly textbook called the Bible for like 30 years now. And, I don't know.
Oh, that wasn't a lot.
Got a few things to consider in there.
But you know, the nice thing about that textbook is you can read it over and over and over, and you always get something new out of it.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah. Did you guys already pass the part where she claims the Bible's not a science book?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
It's probably coming up. Yeah.
No, it hasn't.
She claims that part at one point. She's like, the Bible's not a science book. And I'm like, do you know how many things have happened in science because of the Bible? How many Christians who, being inspired by the Bible, created different forms of science and different fields, even specifically Noah's Ark. The dimensions given for Noah's Ark in the 1700s, they adopted for shipbuilding, and they started creating longer cargo vessels that could cross the Atlantic and were better seaworthy because of those dimensions specifically.
That's beautiful, dude.
There's actually
that is cool, man.
Makes perfect sense.
There's actually so much adherence from science thanks to Christianity, thanks to the Bible.
Yeah.
Yep. The Bible's undefeated in my...
Even in archaeology, the Bible stands undefeated when it comes to historical documentation and archaeology even.
Do you remember when Christ said, when someone goes out to war, will he not, count his troops and count his provisions, make sure he can win the war before he goes out to war? They found out that zoologists, or I can't remember the exact scientific name, but the people that study insects, they actually found out that ants do that when they go against termites.
Is it entomologists? Entomologists?
Is that what it is?
Entomologists, somebody that studies into entomologists.
Yeah, because the termites and ants are like a constant war. And so the ants will actually take an assessment and bring enough people to the fight.
That's cool.
I never knew that. That's cool.
Some of the insect
That's
world is
incredible.
amazing. You know, it just amazes me. Like with bees.
Oh, don't even. I
Oh
was about to say
man,
bees.
what a wonder they are! What a wonder they are, man! It's just it's incredible.
Electrostatically levitating.
Yeah, there's a passage in Hebrews 11 where it says Abraham looked for a city whose architect and builder is God. Like the Bible's literally claiming that God is an architect and a builder. But no, there's no science involved in the Bible. And then, by the way, it says Abraham looked for that heavenly country that's coming down out of heaven, to which then we get the dimensions of it in Revelation 21. And the dimensions are like, wow, that's architecture. It's amazing. Either it's an arrogance that causes them to just not think seriously or critically about these things in the Bible, or they just don't know the Bible.
Yeah. Have like Leviticus, isn't that filled with all the dimensions of the temple? Or
yeah, the pi,
That
the
is
formula for pi
unbelievable.
is a part of the boiling sea in Leviticus and Numbers. The boiling sea where they cook some of their sacrifices, basically like a big cauldron,
bowl.
basically a big circular
Samson
bowl.
cauldron, from the temple's cauldron. But the sad thing is the Globies want to misrepresent it and say, oh, you see, but they even got pi wrong. No, just talking about from brim
Oh,
to
brim
the diameter.
Yeah.
Brim to brim. So they're saying, oh, but you see the Bible got pi wrong.
Talking about
No.
the bottom of it to the top of it, from that brim to that brim.
Exactly.
No, forget the fact that they didn't have a concept of a decimal. They weren't using decimals yet. I think they just rounded it to 3. That's what they used, was 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, even how they were doing measurements and stuff, they were using cubits, and cubits were usually, I think they were using arm lengths.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't there 2 types of cubits
A
as well?
cubit is the length of the elbow to the tip of the middle finger, usually about 18 to 24 inches.
Yeah, the Egyptian cubit's 25 inches and the Hebrew cubit was 18
Hebrew
inches.
cubit, yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I don't normally talk about this stuff on my channel because I don't want to get people off into the weeds. But if you do look up, like in Genesis 1:1, there is an actual formula hidden inside the sentence. So if you take the value of the letters, and I think it's you take the value of the letters, divide it by the value of the words, and you get pi, 3.14 to 6 decimal places. Wow. And there's another passage it's either in Matthew or in Genesis where you do the same type of thing, the same type of calculation from the letters and the words, and you get the speed of light, supposed speed of light formula. So, is that the Masoretes just putting some Kabbalah in there, or is that truly, there? It's just interesting because the level of coincidence is statistically almost improbable. That you could actually take the value of the numbers divided by the value of the words, or the value of the letters divided by the value of the words in one single sentence and get pi to 6 decimal places. Like, that's crazy.
That's wild, man.
That's pretty cool.
And it's in a statement that says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So don't let anyone ever lie to you and tell you that the Bible isn't a book that has science in it.
Well, it's a truth book, is what I'll say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or they're not running them over and over again, or if they are, they're still not accepting the conclusion. There's always an excuse for why their hypothesis was not attained. So either they did the experiment wrong, or one of the excuses was they were testing lasers across water and it didn't align the way that they thought it would. This is in Behind the Curve, which is a documentary on Prime, I think. And it didn't align. And at one point they said they think it was weeds that got in the way. Sure, that could have been an explanation, but go run it again. Right? Do these experiments over and over and over.
Was this Jaron's thing? I think this was Jaron.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when this first came out, I gave a whole long list on why I literally called Jaron out for making a dog's breakfast non-experiment. I mean, look at the boards first of all. He literally cut out with a bread knife. I mean, you know that if you want to align something so perfectly, you're going to have to get that CNC machine, man. So you can align it 100%. If those things are out of alignment, just a touch, it's not going to show through. So it was really, his non-experiment was really created to fail anyway. But yeah, the fact that he didn't try and redo it again tells everything.
Over again. One of the other experiments that I won't go into details on, mentioned in Behind the Curve, they actually ran it over and over and over again and came to an opposite conclusion that they thought they were going to achieve, and then just said, it doesn't really matter. We'll just get rid of that. It doesn't matter.
She talking about things, Bob, the 15-degree hour drift gyro.
That's probably what she's implying or referring to, I would say.
The whole fact that they took these stooges, put them on there, and had them do these screwy ass things. I mean, go out there in the dark with a freaking carpenter's knife trying to cut a hole in a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, bread knife. That's insane.
Get out of here with that, man. That's just
Get
as
out of
bad as
here.
his fake. That's just as bad as his Junior Explorer compass that he had down there, the little Yogi Bear compass that he got from the national park or whatever, and had it upside down and shit. What the hell, man?
But I mean, look at it first of all,
Hit
okay?
peeps.
What's up, Roger? But I mean, look at it first of all. He went unprepared, okay? He didn't have the things pre-cut to specifications. He cut out with a bread knife there, literally, to make, hopefully, the holes lined up. He didn't place the boards perfectly on stands to make sure they're sitting at exactly the same elevation. He did it at night at a cold lake, and he used a torch which literally has divergent light, and expected it to work. It was everything about that was literally is like so unprepared. It's not even funny.
Or more like it was set up to fail to begin with.
Exactly that.
Yeah, that's a logical conclusion.
I'll be right back.
We still believe the flat Earth model. Again, who do you do you even not trust yourselves at this point?
Yeah.
And that becomes a really hard life. Now you're not just distrusting government or government agencies or scientists. Now you're not even trusting yourself or your own group. That's the other piece, Melissa.
Why must we trust people who have been shown to just, show nonsense?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by your own group?
Doesn't make sense.
No.
I mean, even
Anyone that
Globies,
studied
some
this-
people that don't. Sorry?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying even Globies, there's people they don't follow on their own group.
Of course.
This is my opinion, but anyone that has actually studied this, especially if you claim to have put hundreds of hours in studying this, you should know that flat earthers, there's a dichotomy that when you start to realize that there is lies happening, worldwide lies that we're having to combat, to ask us to discount the suspicion and the lies from official sources, the other side of that dichotomy, it forces us to discount or disbelieve what we see and what we read in the Bible. So that's like a fundamental binary or a dichotomy of, do we believe what the world is telling us, or do we believe what the Bible and our own eyes can tell us? And that's the part where it just, this type of incredulity, like they're acting as if they just can't believe this. It really kind of rubs me raw, because these are women that I hope would stand up for other things in the Bible. Like the Bible says, don't abort your babies.
Yeah.
The world says, please do abort your babies. And it's like, they've got Planned Parenthoods all over the globe. all over the plane. And so, and then the world will tell you, you know, marriage is bad, the nuclear family's bad, men are toxic. The world will tell you all this stuff that the Bible doesn't say. The Bible says the opposite of. And I would hope that these ladies align. They may just be really good at concealing that they're extremely liberal Christians because they just believe everything they're told by official sources.
Right.
Yep.
Which means in the last 30 years, they've been indoctrinated into all these lies as well.
Well, you want to hear something crazy? This there was they had this abortion clinic was going up in Wyoming, the only one in the whole state, and some woman burned it down, and the prosecution, of course, being liberal, was going after her for trying to burn an abortion clinic. And her lawyers are arguing that it wasn't an abortion clinic yet because it had not opened. It was still under construction. And the liberal lawyers are arguing that it was an abortion clinic the moment they started construction. Do you see how ass backwards that is? They don't believe that a baby is a human at conception. They don't believe it's a living thing at conception, but they believe the abortion clinic was an abortion clinic at the moment of construction.
That's so messed up.
It's like they can't even see their own irony. They can't even see their own hypocrisy, you know? Just sick.
Yep.
Melissa, and I think this is where it gets exceptionally interesting. One of the theories about the flat Earth that I already mentioned is this ice wall. Okay, it's in Antarctica. There was a treaty that was passed. It was signed in 59. It went into effect in 61. That 12 different countries basically control Antarctica, and that would always be a place of peace and scientific research.
Okay.
One of the conspiracies about Antarctica is that they won't allow civilians to go into this space. Now, I personally know somebody who
Again, misrepresenting it. It's always the same thing. No, you are not allowed to freely, independently.
How is that so hard to understand?
I mean, you cannot go independently and freely explore. That is not the same as saying you're not allowed to go there.
Yeah, you can go to one of the controlled areas. You know, I mean, so what? You go to the little peninsula, you can go on a little booze cruise around the peninsula and shit like that. Who's allowed to go in there and say, listen, I'm going to start here at this meridian and I'm going to come up 180 degrees on the other side? Who does that? Oh, you can't do that because it's too dangerous. Well, you'll let me climb Everest without any problem. What's going on here? Why is my safety a concern in Antarctica, but my safety is not a concern if I go to Mount Everest? What's up with that?
Yeah, and how many people die yearly on Mount Everest?
Oh my God! And they're still there.
Hey guys, it's not about your safety; it's about the truth, right? You know.
Uh-huh.
God.
who has. So I know that's not true, right? Yeah. It is very expensive to go there. It's not just like you hop on a plane and boom, you're in Antarctica.
You're like the cruises and stuff.
Actually, you do hop on a plane and boom, you're in Antarctica. You just have to pay a lot to get there.
Oh my God. They're really trying hard.
Yeah. The problem is when you do get there, you're just limited to where you're allowed to go. And if you want to explore, you have to pay extra and have people guiding you to where you want to go. Why? Because dangerous. Okay.
Hey, DeWitt Straight Laces, it's actually 10 months. It's 40 weeks.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing I still don't get is why don't we get any satellites going over the center of Antarctica?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why don't we have that?
I mean, why can't Starlink just go over Antarctica in the middle? Oh no, because it's too cold and it's a waste of orbit space to go through the center because no one is ever there. So why do they need to do it? Oh, I don't know, just so maybe they can stop showing a deep, great big hole in the middle of Earth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. None of their excuses really hold water at all.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm going to jump off. I'm about to do my own live stream, and
Awesome.
so appreciate you guys. I'm going to be
Thanks,
reviewing
Sean.
a
Sure.
quote unquote
So
church
thanks for coming.
minister.
Hopefully you'll be awake in time to have the show with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll do my best. That's all I can promise. I'll do my
Cheers,
best.
cheers, man. Blessings.
Cheers.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Uh,
I mean, it's a very expensive trip, and you have a lot of paperwork that you have to fill out.
Yeah.
But you can go. Up until December 2024, it seemed like flat earthers were unwilling to make that journey. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
That's false. Didn't Witzer try and plan to go? No, Oz, it's not pink eye. Didn't he plan? Witzer say he was planning to go before TFE was even
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
So that's already a lie. I mean, this comes back to the story of even with Walt Duffy. He has two different narratives on this. The one narrative is he didn't know what to do. So he had an idea, and that's when it popped into him. And then he went to watch the debate, and that was confirmation about his idea with TFE. And the other one was he didn't know what to do. And when he went to the debate and he saw Dean Odell give this idea, that's when it clicked in his mind what he should do. So which one is it? Was it confirmed at the Dean Odell debate, or was it the Dean Odell debate that gave him the that gave him the idea?
Oh, he had a live last night. He said, what was it called? Flat Earth Comeback or something like that.
Oh, that was Witsit, yeah. Have you guys watched it? I haven't watched it yet.
No.
I watched
Mother.
maybe 10 seconds of it.
I was watching
I texted
Justin Johnson, and he was live streaming. He was a mod on Austin's channel, but they don't agree with how Witsit has been behaving with the whole TFE thing. And we could see who the other mods were banning. And there's the people in Justin Johnson's chat.
Well, I can guarantee you, if I have to show up in Witsit's chat, I'll get banned straight away, even just for saying.
Oh, they removed my. I just put flat. I didn't know Flat Earth left.
Look, I look at it like this. I don't have any need to go check it out or anything else like that, because here's what happened. You're a casualty, bro. They got you. I don't need to watch you anymore. They got you. Okay? I warned you. Okay? They got you. You're a casualty of the war. Sorry, babe. That'd be like somebody who's been in captivity by the enemy for a long time, and then oh, look, I got loose and I want to rejoin my unit. No, you've been in their hands for too long, bro. Sorry.
It's very arrogant too to say Flat Earth is back. I was gone for a little bit, but here I am.
Don't worry, folks.
Thank
I'm
God.
here to save the day.
It was very messianic almost. It's ridiculous.
I just keep on doing my thing, man. That's all.
Keep doing my thing.
And Justin Johnson, he made some comments himself, and Austin ended up taking his wrench.
Yeah.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope it works out well for him, but I'm sorry, you're compromised. You can't deal with you, bro. You're compromised. And Jaron, I don't even worry about that. He sent me a big old message on Messenger the other day. It was like a big paragraph, took up the whole screen. I started reading it, and it said, "Here's what makes you stupid." And I just went, "Fuck you," and I just blocked him. I was like, I don't even need to hear anything out of you. Go fuck your little doll or whatever it is you do, weirdo.
Mm-mm-mm. Uh-oh.
What is this? I'm looking at here in the chat.
Okay.
Where'd Flats go?
Was splitting the ice when they went. What a coincidence.
Yeah, the fake VIP clubs. Yeah, that's what I. Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
Oh,
No. I
Okay.
mean, maybe I've heard that the sun never goes down.
Yes.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
So you have heard of it. Because I find it really have you ever heard of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica? No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there's no way
heard it
she
never
hasn't
goes.
heard of it. There's no way she hasn't heard of it. Bull crap.
But that's the thing. She literally just said, I knew that it said it hasn't gone down. That was the actual argument that she was bringing up. So you have heard of it then.
Of course.
They're caught in a lie.
Now watch, she'll go right to the TFE. She'll go to the TFE.
Yeah.
Totally bypassing. Doesn't NASA have a station down there? Don't they have a station in Antarctica? Why haven't they done it? It took some people from YouTube to go down here. That's where it came from. Big earth shattering thing. Really? All the research teams and scientists and everything else. And it was Jaron.
Yeah.
Okay. And Will
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here with that, man.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
In Alaska, have you heard of the dark days where it's always dark all the time?
Yeah. Okay.
For a certain period of time, it's dark, or a certain part of time, it's light, right?
Yeah.
They've got different. Same thing happens in Antarctica.
Okay.
However, flat earthers think that that's not true. True.
Oh, that's not true. Nobody said
More
that there isn't.
mind control.
But that's the
They
thing.
do not-
That's a lie. Nobody says that America is not 24-hour sunlight. That's why I say there's a difference between daylight and sunlight.
Yeah.
No one's ever disagreed that there's 24-hour light in Antarctica or daylight. The difference comes when you're calling it sunlight, if you're saying the sun never sets. Now, even till this day, I haven't seen actual evidence that it has not been setting. Even if it sets for a second, it still doesn't show anything other than, wow, the sun just does what we thought it does. That's it. The fact that they literally been deceptive about this whole thing shows that, yes,
They're
it
lying.
did set. Yeah,
They're
lying.
hiding the truth. That's
Yeah,
that's
why
exactly
would they need to lie? Why would they need to lie if it didn't set?
Exactly.
You know, let's put it this way. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. You were never going to go. So I was never going to go because you guys weren't part of the team.
The people that got picked were picked before you ever even heard about this.
Exactly. Exactly.
The thing is, even if we said, okay, we accepted to go, we wouldn't go. And we would be now claimed as to be shills because we would have just accepted it.
I don't even want to be in the same world with Toon, much less in the same plane with him, for crying out loud. Get real. That dude creeps me out, man.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Imagine being on a plane for 5 hours sitting next to that guy.
God, no.
I wouldn't be able to.
No.
And then going to sit in no, man.
It was a very planned out production, just like the moon landing. It was a production.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Planned in advance.
Oh, that's damn it.
Not believe the sun is there for 24 hours a day, because that would prove that the earth is on
Doesn't prove
a
anything.
curve like this, and that it's rotating, and when it hits a certain area, the sun would be in the same spot for several months, causing the 24-hour sun.
Yes.
If it's flat, you don't get that because the sun is just moving around and around and around.
Yes.
Oh, just like the Bible says the sun takes a circuit. So, Mrs. Christians here, are you not supposed to say, well, the Bible describes the sun going around in the circuit?
Circuit,
You're
right?
literally saying the Bible's wrong.
A circuit Isn't that like a circle? Isn't that from the same word as circle? Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. Not spirit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
I think it's cool they use it for electricity, create a circuit.
Comes back
Some
where
more science. More science.
Yeah, so it's like the Bible does have science in it.
Uh-huh.
Psalms 19:6.
19,
It rises at one end in heavens and makes its circuit to the other. Nothing deprived from its warmth. Weird. This is one thing I don't get. Why are Christians so against the Bible?
Oh, that statement is so weird.
It does sound weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
It sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah, it really does.
But it's the unfortunate truth.
Because they don't read it for themselves. They don't
Christians
truly read it for themselves.
No.
They have a
They
pastor
rely
who
on
tells
what the guy at the pulpit tells them it says.
exactly. They put
Which is
too
the
much.
whole reason that the Reformation happened, because people were sick of that. They were sick of only being able to get what they could get from the pulpit, and what they were getting from the pulpit didn't match what was in the Bible, and that's why they had a problem.
And so didn't they didn't the church, the early church, not the Acts, but I'm talking about defend, like not duplicate Bibles.
No, you weren't allowed to have
a Bible, right? That's right.
No.
Yeah, because just like a slave is not allowed to read, they didn't want slaves to read either.
Right.
The same principle. Well, we'll tell you what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Tracking?
I'm tracking.
Wait. Finally, in 2024, a pastor in Colorado named Will Duffy came up with what he called the final experiment. He invited 24 flat earthers and 24 spherical earthers, people who believe that the earth is a sphere, to come to this event in Antarctica, paid for. Okay, he paid for it. And they were going to do experiments to prove one way or
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, and if she'd looked into Will Duffy at all, I mean, that's why I think they just know. I mean, she mentioned she knew someone else. It's probably Will Duffy. I mean, if she doesn't know him, then research him and see what he teaches. You know what I mean? But I think she already probably knows him.
the other to get definitive conclusions with their own eyes, one way or the other. So there were a couple of YouTubers, flat earther YouTubers, who went on this journey and they discovered, what do you think they discovered?
Oh, that they're wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
They discovered that their hypothesis was incorrect. And I just rewatched those videos this morning of when they were you can look it up. I mean, still.
Okay, first of all, woman, there was no science for this. Well, I just paused in the right time for her now as well. So I've got it right in the same screen for both of them to look like they're high. Anyway, there was no science for this, not an experiment of Duffy. He's been literally debated on this. Till this day, I still haven't got any rebuttal to this. It was a false dichotomy. And even, let's actually get this up again. I think this is the best to get up because Duffy says it the best, actually.
Yeah, go ahead and play this one.
It's the best.
My
Duffy
favorite.
says it's the best.
How have you measured the diameter of the sun changing since the days of Adam?
I haven't measured it, and I want to
Okay,
point
so
out.
it's a false claim. So you're just appealing to.
Hey, Sean, let me answer. I want to point out to the audience, you are evading the topic of the debate, which is the shape of the Earth, by talking about the sun.
Your whole TFE is about the sun. You
Exactly.
Wow. So he admits that has nothing to do with the Earth.
Right.
He just admitted it right there.
Oh man, awesome.
This is epic. This is epic.
Great job,
Sean.
Let him speak. He just burned himself, you know.
Sean, you totally demolished this, dude. Yeah,
Yep.
that's and then this is what I see when I think of these two. That's what I
No,
think when I see these two.
I had to turn my phone down when I saw that this morning. I was like, oh my God, this guy's yelling at me.
I think I got a super chat. Let's see, where is it now? Oh, £5, Mr. Jingles. Thank you very much. He says, a little for your new baby boy. Maybe you could buy him a globe. Appreciate the super chat, Mr. Jingles. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate all the support. I don't need to buy him a globe because he's not a globie, but appreciate the support. You rock. Yeah, I'm still waiting for this documentary to come out, by the way.
It is weird. Didn't they say it was coming out in April?
Like April, yeah.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
But that's why I say I think it is like hold on because of like getting more publicity, like channels like this first, and then you know, getting more interviews like Robbie Davidson and all that now for his documentary. But he shouldn't wait too long because eventually it's just going to fizzle out. Like everybody's just going to say, oh, it was boring. You know, it's like been there, done that. It's old news. So if he's waiting too long, people are just going to be uninterested.
It's so frustrating, man. Just all the lies. I mean, just the piles of deception and like weird stuff going on with TFE. I can't believe normal human people think that was actually real.
I know.
Piles
I
and piles of Scabala.
I don't understand
that.
We haven't even read the poll out yet. So much wrong with research and deduction made by Melissa and her guest. 51% say yes. No, 27%, and not sure, 22%. Well, you see, the thing is, these curve tests they say they were supposed to release, still waiting. The 24-hour stream, still waiting. Everything they keep saying they're bringing to us, we're just waiting all the time.
Yeah.
She looks like she's about to channel Will Duffy. And she's ready to receive it.
Yeah.
Oh. When they discovered that this was the case, 2 of them have now dropped their.
This is
good.
This is the problem with peer review right here.
People talk glibly about science. What is science? People coming out of a university with a master's degree or a PhD, you take them into the field, and they literally don't believe anything unless there's a peer-reviewed paper. It's the only thing they accept. And you say to them, but let's observe, let's think, let's discuss. They don't do it. Just, is it in a peer-reviewed paper or not? That's their view of science.
Right.
I think it's pathetic. Gone into universities as bright young people, they come out of them brain dead, not even knowing what science means.
Mm-hmm.
They think it means peer-reviewed papers, etc. No, that's academia. And if a paper is peer-reviewed, it means everybody thought the same, therefore they approved it. An unintended consequence is that when new knowledge emerges, new scientific insights, they can never, ever be peer-reviewed. So we're blocking all new advances in science that are big advances. If you look at the breakthroughs in science, almost always they don't come from the center of that profession. They come from the fringe.
Yeah.
The finest candle makers in the world couldn't even think of electric lights. They don't come from within. They often come from outside the breaks. We're going to kill ourselves because of stupidity.
Sorry, true.
Anything of anything, any work didn't come from academia. It comes from the fringes. Exactly.
That's what I try to teach my students, but I didn't say it eloquently as he did. I'm trying. I'll get there.
flat earth beliefs or severely modified them have come out and spoken about them and said, yeah, that's not going to prove a flat earth. We can't use that argument anymore. What else do we have? Whereas others have flat out said it's not true anymore. We know that the flat earth is not a real thing. How do you think they have been treated by the flat earth community?
Look at that smile. Look at that smile on her face.
Yes.
You know,
jeez, man.
If you ever think of a character in a movie where that evil character, like he knows he's deceiving, you know, like smile.
Excellent. Everything is working out as I had foreseen.
It's exactly that smile she was doing now when she said that. I'm gonna rewind it a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna rewind it a bit and just look at that.
Look at her eyes.
Yeah, look at this.
That the flat earth is not a real thing. How do you think they have been treated?
Look at that smile.
By the flat earth community?
Apostasy.
Apostasy what?
Apostasy. So she's, like I said, this is scripted. Straight away, she didn't even have to think about it. Oh no, apostasy. It's a cult, remember? We're trying to paint it as a cult.
Which you didn't have to think about that, about everything else throughout the whole blooming video she's been thinking about and sucking lemons on.
Yeah, Michelle kind of closed her mouth, like holding back before she felt like hiding. Oh, she's about to say something good.
But like David said, she was Melissa was already reacting before she even finished a sentence, so she already knew. Look at this,
Covers her lips.
Look.
Here,
by the flat earth community.
Oh, see, she said no before she even finished a sentence.
Yeah.
Huh.
Body language.
Very important.
Mm-hmm. And she's looking down at the script too.
You're an
see how she's. Did you see her eyes go? Yeah, to a screen there.
Yep.
She's about to read something good.
Like I said, this is all scripted, guys.
Yeah.
You are filth. You are none of.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they have been treated terribly.
How did you know that?
Oh,
if you didn't look
listen
into
to her?
How would he know?
Did she listen to Jaren's Christmas story?
Yeah.
Maybe we should play some of Jaren's Christmas poem again.
Yeah, let's play that and make sure the small children aren't in the room too either.
Yeah. What a very edifying poem to listen to.
Let me quickly get Jarenism's.
German.
This is a stream he had when he came back before anybody was doing anything to him.
Germism, because he's like a virus.
We started asking questions because there's so many lies. That's what was, what they're.
So here's to the grifters.
Oh, talking to yourself straight off.
Yeah.
Get out.
He must have been looking in the mirror.
Right out of Zelensky's playbook right here.
He must have been looking in the mirror when he wrote that.
Yeah.
Truthers that we know, who twist every fact to put on a show. 'Twas the night before Christmas when I finally realized that the flat earth had become what we used to despise.
The night before Christmas. Okay.
A dogmatic religion, stubborn and gay, with TikToks talking liars, making it faker than fake space.
Was this 666?
Where once we sought truth.
Sorry?
Was this video 666?
This was video 666 as far as I know, I think.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, this was video 666, I think. Which one was it? It was this one.
Oh, and it's got 40,333 views.
Now it's all just a grift, with live streams covering live streams after live streams that say, you'll fake the sky, dismiss an attack. No need for a model. The earth's simply flat. And as I step back...
Do you need a model, though?
No.
Why do we need to replace their belief system?
Exactly.
The absurdity grew. The dogma, the chaos, the echoing crew. No questions, no answers, just blind disarray. A parody lost in its own sad cliche. So I laughed to myself as I turned out the light. Merry Christmas to all. You're no longer worth the fight.
Well, that was the end of it, though. We didn't go from the beginning, but yeah.
Don't. No, nobody wants to hear his voice.
Yeah, it was bad, guys. It was
Yeah, he was just
really being a scumbag.
Yeah. So,
But like I say,
in other words, he let his true colors show.
Yes.
But this is what I was trying to explain earlier. You see, this type of thing he was doing was enticing people to talk against him.
Of course.
He was planning this. He needed enticement to make flat earthers say things. But like you're saying, we literally called him out long before TFE existed.
Yeah.
We even called it out when TFE came out. It's like, this is going to be his out. What happened? Yeah.
Make the divide complete.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the cult word earlier.
Yeah.
I also hesitate to assign that word to groups, but it is interesting to look at how groups fall into those categories. And we could just call it a high control group.
Yes.
A lot of people will get involved with the flat earth movement because they are looking for people like them. Okay.
What?
They're
Here comes the
looking for people like
psychoanalysis.
them.
looking for people like that. What?
What's up, Roger?
Not much. I'm finally home. Yeah.
Hello, Roger.
This is a shit. I mean, this is a crappy show. Sorry, I had to catch myself there. Oh man, yeah. Brian was telling everybody that these two girls are just straight up liars, and they did a review on it on FED, and they are, dude. They're just straight up lying about this whole thing. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, it's definitely been scripted. I mean, she's already been caught out for having flat Earth content, so it's not like she didn't know nothing. She's just saying the same as bloody does it. Oh, I haven't researched flat Earth or heliocentrism. Yeah.
But you know, Duffy's going around right now and going to every big channel, even geocentric and non-geo. He's telling everybody that the shape of the Earth has been settled now, and he's waiting for everybody to get on board, whether geocentric or globalist, no matter what.
There you go. He's trying to get his sound bites. He's doing some final preparation for his mockumentary.
Oh yeah, get everybody in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth talking
they got to have this conflict in order to have content. You understand that? And this is why they're going to have the big showdown of Jaron debates, Witsit, and all that, because they're struggling for their viewership. That's why nobody gives a shit anymore.
Plus, they know they're best friends.
Yeah,
business partners. It's like WWE.
Yep.
We should do a live stream of their debate and just make fun of it.
I'm not going to give it any attention. I'm not going to give it any attention. That's what they're after, is the attention.
Exactly. You got to pay to watch it.
Paywall. It's like $75.
Oh yeah, that's
you
right.
got to pay to watch it. So
and then $92 for VIP access.
Ooh, well, yeah, that'll bring in the viewers, boy. I'll tell you.
Not me. Sorry, I'm out. 75 is a little high.
My question is, why do you have to pay for it anyway?
Yeah, right. Truth, right? Truth should be clear.
Well, because it's Jaron and Witsit. Don't you understand? They're important.
Yeah, who wants to pay for Witsit to spit academic, to listen to him spitting academic? You know what I mean? That's solid.
Oh, God. I want to thank Bob.
It'd be interesting, like, because you know, Witsit would pretty much shred Globies, but you know, even though he's his business partner, I think it's going to be a little bit more. I don't know. I can see him kind of like letting off the brake a little bit, you know, kind of allowing
stupidity. Is that what you're going to say next?
Yeah. Yes.
And they had to go behind the curve. That was just the worst thing they could ever did. I was just biting my tongue in the corner.
Yeah.
think she said it was a Prime thing, but it was Netflix, wasn't it?
It was Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was Prime. Yeah.
And the one time when we had a great voice on a good network, they give it to Jaron Campanella. Here you go, boy, and don't screw up. And what does he do? That's interesting. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
And behind the curve, Mark Sargent, one of the leaders of Flat Earth, he says, I was looking for my people and I found them amongst the flat earthers. And that seemed to be true. The more people that got interviewed in this documentary said, I lost people, but I gained people in my life. These are my people.
Yeah, you know what they mean when they say I lost people? It means globies are bigots. And if they find out you're a flat earther, they write you off.
Right.
They literally go so far to contact people's jobs to get them fired because they're flat earthers.
Yeah.
So who's the culture? Yeah, who's the culture? The people that's saying, hey, we find people who's like-minded like us, or the people who's literally trying to ruin people's lives because they're flat earthers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toon's like that. Toon's a sick puppy, I'll tell you what, man.
Oh, he is. Without a doubt. It gives me the creeps, man.
So I find it really disheartening and sad and disappointed that two Christian ladies are trying to literally lie about flat earth so much that they're literally trying to put the globies' sad affairs and project them onto flat earthers.
Yeah. I agree. It's very disappointing.
Oh, can I say, Flats, your chat looks better today for some reason.
Sorry?
Your chat looks clean today. There's not too many...
You weren't here at the start, then.
You weren't there in the start, Chad. Remember, we've been going on for 3 hours.
I'm only going by what Soph said. I ain't got the chat up.
It's amazing when you ignore them, they eventually go.
Eventually. Just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. If you are here, you can hit the likes. You're allowed to, if you didn't realize that.
Look at poor Conspiracy Music Studio. They really are an angry type of person. Scum, that's what he's got. I guess that's he's referring to me. Is a sick puppy, I tell you that, man. No, I've never called anybody's employer. I've never stalked their family members and harassed them. I've never done any of that shit at all. I've never looked for somebody's email address that isn't public so that I can harass them. Toon has. So you're defending this sick behavior tells me that you're a sick individual as well. In fact, proof that you're a sick individual is the fact that you're here. For what reason?
That's a good question.
Just to be a dick? You get enjoyment out of being a dick to people? Is that what you like? Is that what you do? That's called psychopathic behavior. That's sociopathic, bro. Do you not understand that? You are a sociopath. You dig that, right?
I like the comment toward him too. That was a cute little sarcastic video of me being the flirt going to the end of the earth. That was just stupid. And Flatsoy's my mentor. I'm probably 10 years older than him, but it's all right. Big Flatsoy's going to watch after me as I go down to Antarctica. what the heck?
Oz joined right in there with them. See, and the reason being is because they're angry because none of them can refute anything that I've presented. That's why. And the things that I've presented completely destroy your illusion of this ridiculous space testicle you think you live on.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, and they don't like that we call it a space testicle for some reason.
No, I don't. Well, they should. They seem to be obsessed with balls. And a bunch of Greeks hanging out in a bathhouse talking about balls. The rest of the world's on board with what Earth really is. The only ones with a difference are these Greeks. Huh. Isn't that what they... Yeah, going Greek. Well, hey.
Have you heard about a joke about the Greeks? I'm not going to say it here. But I'll tell you later.
I was going to say, we're watching 300 at the weekend, so
This is Sparta, you know.
And have you guys noticed that when you ask them, like, oh, well, what shape is the Earth? Like 99% of the time, they'll be like, oh, it's round. Why aren't you saying it's spherical?
It's not specific.
Like they're ashamed.
To say round is not specific enough.
Nope.
Like, why are you ashamed of something you believe in?
Yeah. It's not a belief. If you test it out, you'll find out it's not true.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of people don't have the time or the resources. They just go with academia anyway. So to follow the leader, that's usually the order of the day. Makes easier life for you, easy everything. Don't make no waves. Don't ask questions about anything they tell you. Just go along with it.
People. But when somebody comes out and says they no longer believe in the flat earth, they are blasted. The videos that have come out against these men who have then said, I no longer believe in the flat earth, basically they've been labeled liars, that they're getting paid off by the government.
Let me place it this way. Jaron, for instance, he was called a shill way, way, way before this whole TFE thing. He was called out that he's going to use that as his out. Guess what Jaron's excuse for leaving flat earth is? Flat earthers are mean to me.
I'm a victim.
Now, yeah, so he's playing victim. Now, is that a reason to leave a belief system? Because people are mean to you?
If you really believe in it, that's not a reason at all. But we don't just believe. We tested it and found out for ourselves. So we don't run around saying we don't believe in the flat earth anymore. If you found some evidence otherwise, then you can come present it to us.
That's my point. But that's my point. He doesn't have a reason to have quote unquote left flat earth. His whole argument is flat earthers are mean to me, so therefore I'm leaving flat earth. So in other words, he was never a flat earther, guys. He used it as his out, his excuse. Now let's look at Robbie Davidson and Patricia Steer and Paul on the Plane. What are their excuses? Oh no, Jaron saw a sun, so we believe him, therefore not flat earth. What?
Well, Saab, what did that letter say? That they all four of them put out? It's identical, right?
That I've not been coerced, threatened, or paid. They all said the exact same thing. It was sort of like, I am being treated well by the people of the Republic of North Vietnam. Meanwhile, their eyes are blinking SOS and shit.
Yeah. I do not have a gun to my head. Yes. I am in perfect saying this out of my own volition. Yeah.
I mean, that's so good. It's so like, you come in the house and somebody says, hey, where you been? You say, well, I definitely wasn't down there robbing that bank today. What?
The point is that you're supposed to say is, if you were really a flat earther, how the hell do you become a glober? Because once you see truth, you can't unsee truth.
Right.
Yeah, it's like seeing Christ as your savior, then saying, "Oh well, he's not my savior." I don't understand how that happens.
Yeah, so I like to ask him. I say, "Well, when exactly was it that you discovered that the Earth was a globe? Did you discover that it was a globe, and then later you said, hey, wow, I was right about that? In other words, one day you was walking along and you just saw a sunset and said, you know what? I think the Earth must be a rotating ball. And then you went to school and they said, yeah, the Earth is a rotating ball. And you said, fuck, I was right. Wow. Is that how that went down? No, I don't think it went down any way such like that at all. In fact, if nobody ever told you that nonsense, nothing would ever lead you into the direction of thinking such a stupid thing.
It's insane.
Right? It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
But that's what I'm saying. No, like you said, if no one told you it's a globe, you wouldn't know.
Right. Of course not.
Right.
You would never even enter that direction of thinking. Even if you did look up and see round things in the sky, you would never. What would make you think that you're a round thing? You see an airplane go over. Does that make you think you're an airplane?
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Conspiracy Music Studios is an idiot, isn't he?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Swear to God, dude. Once you
His
realize
channel,
it,
his channel is literally just how can I say, hinged off of he requires flat Earth.
I know he's done videos of me, but I've never once watched them. Not
Don't even. It's a waste. It's
not
really.
not worth your time, man. It ain't.
It's all just AI. It's all just AI music, literally rubbish that makes it up.
Look what he said. He said the same damn thing you say every time. Yet you see ships disappearing from the bottom up. Done. It's a globe. Yeah. So let me get this straight.
Can you bring that video? Can you bring that video with the building quickly?
I was going to tell you, if nobody had told you that and you saw a ship go off into the distance and you saw it disappear from the bottom up, you would automatically go, hey, you know what? I think I must be on a ball. Really?
So, that would be a requirement every time a ship went over the horizon. It would have to disappear from the bottom up, right?
Yeah. Well, Roger, once you get to the horizon, it's all downhill.
Oh, Here we go. Here we go. This is for you.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name again? Oh, yeah.
I mean, we should be constantly picking up speed all the time, man. When we're walking, you should be going.
Where's that other one you had, Solve?
Let me see. Let me find it real quick here.
Did you see what Rusted Soul made for Dell?
No.
Oh, dude, it's just a nice little short. It's funny as hell. She's compared him to Columbus.
No crime. Yeah, Lord,
I think I saw that one.
He's not here to claim fame, but he found it first.
There it is. Come on.
I mean, how much demonstrations and explanations do we have to do for these people? That bottom-up destruction is literally because of optical illusion. It's nothing got to do with your physical Earth curve.
I don't understand it.
It's
Lord,
really
when do we stop? When do we stop combating?
Several times over.
There we go.
I mean, you see curve at like 3 miles on the horizon a bit. What about your x-axis? That's more than 3 miles. Your peripheral vision is seeing more than 3 bloody miles, and it's all
the top of the building's gone. Where's the top of the building gone?
It went behind the curve.
Look at that. We can see further now, correct? Because we're raising in altitude according to the reference.
Yeah, you're referencing like the Earth itself, right? So on a flat building, which I'm pretty sure that building's not curved, right?
No, I don't think
No.
It's definitely vertical.
Tell you what, the wind must have been hitting the top of the building at that point.
Bend it all day like that.
Yeah.
Take it down to the centimeter.
Now, how
one,
does a globie look at that and say, oh, I still believe boats go over curve because bone ships disappear? Literally, that's a flat surface showing that. And guess what? He was above the surface there, correct?
No,
because it's a bit difficult to get underneath. Just like they keep complaining with the table. Oh, you guys are under the table with the camera.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Under the table, yeah.
Oh my
You're right
God.
there, right below the eye level of the table. You're right at the edge of it.
Because literally all I see when I hear globies argue against bottom-up obstructions, literally brain is dead zombies.
You'd have to center the center of the lens right on the edge of the table, right? That would give you a straight shot across it, right? And it's still disappearing.
They're like that Jim Brewer.
Now again.
They're like that Jim Brewer thing that he does. What? Trust the science. Trust the science. What?
Speaking of Jim Brewer, we should do Half Bake on your show one night, DJ.
All right.
I got another one I want to show.
It's a movie.
All right.
Dave Chappelle, Jim Brewer, who else was in there?
We had a fighter jet come fly through here this morning, really low and fast, man. We don't get that.
Wow.
It was really wild. I don't know what it was. I was inside. I heard that thing. I know what they sound like too, baby, because I lived out there by China Lake Naval Air Weapons Station, and those things, man, you know what they sound like.
Where's the nearest air base?
So I was just thinking that's what was happening again right now, but the nearest air base is up by DC, over in Norfolk. But I just there was just this big long rumbling thunder that just happened outside. I thought it was another jet coming. It's like it's all because of this bullshit that's going on.
We need a riot over here in Denver, but I haven't seen one yet. So,
well, wait, hang in there. Tomorrow's coming.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's a Kings. What? No Kings.
No Kings. Yeah.
Working day. Yeah.
Let's see.
Bunch of garbage.
I don't wear a crown.
They got one planned for you at. Let's see if they got one planned for you at. I just go to that No Kings.
You go to that site, and they're all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. It's just the map is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look and see where they got one for Roger. You can go film it.
Oh yeah,
we got one. The little town that we went up and watched the dwarf wrestling at has got one planned.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, let's see. Colorado, where is that at? Let's get it.
Did you get a strike for that dwarf wrestling on YouTube?
No.
Hey. Oh, right. So I thought no, it was. I did boxing, not wrestling.
Oh yeah, look, dude, they're all around
Denver, and
they're all over Denver. I'm gonna zoom in.
So I'm at 120th and Huron is my prime location. It's right next to a NASA building, by the way.
Okay, so just real quick, I'll share my screen. This is Denver.
Is that a real building or is it CGI'd?
Yeah,
it's real.
I'll show it to you. Look at around Denver.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. I think that's all I can zoom in. Let's see. There's one at the Solidarity Warriors. What is it? It's an RSVP one. I don't know what that doesn't have a location. Here's one. Wow, they stopped. Longmont. Where'd you say you were at?
I'm at 120th at Huron. There's the main intersection near me. So.
See if I can get in there.
If you go back and watch one of PJ's shows, we actually went on Google Earth and came to my neighborhood. Walk right.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I had a little stroll around Roger's neighborhood. I did.
So yeah, they're going to be everywhere. Look at this. Here's one right downtown. I guess that's going to be at the city hall or something.
Nice.
It's absolutely.
Well, I'm off tomorrow, so I can go out and do things.
Arvada.
Arvada's not that far away.
Yeah, they're gonna have one. Arvada. Golden.
Is there one? See Westminster anywhere in there? Westminster is where I'm at.
Right up here. It's just the one I guess incorporates that is. Yeah, here's Arvada right here.
Got it.
And Westminster is just north of it. You see right here.
And Thornton's right next to me. I'm right in the middle of these two right here.
I mean, these things are everywhere, though. I mean, you zoom back out and look at the whole United States. This is insane. Yeah. Look at this.
Oh. Hey, that's almost as good as Dave's app. Look at it.
It's like the blue dots, no doubt, right? And this is the area where, where I'm at. They got a few of them around here.
North.
Let's see. There's Pennsylvania. Now we're down here into Virginia. There they got Charlottesville, Culpeper. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Waynesboro, Stanton here. That's where Woodrow Wilson is from. Dirty bastard. Wow. Woodstock, Winchester, Culpeper, Orange, Louisa, Fredericksburg. I don't know. They got one downtown Richmond. Oh boy. Petersburg, Lynchburg. Surprised they haven't made them change the name of that. Lynchburg.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be something to witness because they're talking about Trump was talking pretty tough, man. Yeah, talking pretty tough. But of course, keep in mind it's all orchestrated, it's planned, it's ordo ab chaos. Okay, ordo ab chaos. This is their motto: order out of chaos. Yeah. You didn't think that was an eagle on the top of the flag, did you? That's a phoenix, y'all. Come on.
Out of the fire, out of the ashes.
Out of the ashes, yeah. Right, Flex. I've got to go. 15 minutes.
I think we can end as well anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you ended.
We
Oh,
can do part 3. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to because there's still a whole about an hour left for their stream. So.
Oh wow.
So you tell me we've got another hour of us sucking lemons.
Yeah,
Right.
we're 37 minutes in from an hour and 25-minute stream.
37 eyebrow, 30,000 eyebrow movements from Michelle.
But remember, guys, tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. We're going to have that big round table. At 2 o'clock Central African time.
That's 5 o'clock in the morning for me, man.
Yeah, so we're going to be sleeping.
I
so Charles, you get early coffee again.
Yes, I was
At
up
least
at 3:30 last Saturday, and I couldn't go to sleep, so I just stayed on a little bit to talk because I was like, I can't go to sleep now.
At least this time I don't have to go outside and do other things. So tomorrow morning I'm waking up early to quickly clean house and then go do shopping. So I'm back in time so we can show.
Cool. 2 o'clock your time, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll give me time to have a couple hours sleep as well by the time I finish.
But yeah, I'm excited because I think we all got a lot of things to present. So it's probably going to be a nice long stream.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I have like, I mean, I don't want to repeats the same thing, but like I know Michael has a lot of good stuff and it'll be good. It'll definitely be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting, and I really hope they do listen because I tagged all the Satan short seasonists all over.
Okay.
So hopefully they do actually listen in.
Yes.
So we're taking Christ out of the season. We're making it Satan season now. Is that what it is? Satan season. Satan short season.
They believe we're in Satan short season. It's some of the arguments they come up with is literally how does one read a Bible and understand the way they understand it? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't think they think about it. They go with what they're presented.
Mm-hmm. And then I've got a debate Monday. Apparently, someone's challenged me to debate. But that's going to be an afternoon debate as well. So that'll be about 4 on Monday. That's going to be cool.
Okay.
What's the topic on your debate? Is it
He
just
still has to let me know, but he is a Globie, so probably going to be all over the place. You know the usual.
Do we know who it is?
His name is. He hasn't been mean. He hasn't been really discordial and stuff in the comment section. Troy. His name's Troy.
Right. Do you remember the guy that you and Saw first spoke to him, then you spoke to him afterwards? He was a cool bloke. He was sad. That was
Ken.
Yeah.
Ken Reynolds. Yeah, I like Ken Reynolds. He can come back anytime and
that's ever civil conversation between man.
Flat, you look like a cool rock and roll guy.
Yeah. Anybody that thinks the Blackbird is like a rocket is crazy.
SR-71.
It's all right.
The thing is,
it works out propulsion like a jet. It's not a rocket.
That thing's been around longer than half the people arguing about it were alive. You know.
That nose would have to dip a lot, wouldn't it?
It's from the 60s.
Yeah.
The SR-71 was from the 60s, man.
So PJ left. Remember, guys, PJ's going live now.
Okay.
So if you guys want to go over to PJ's a bit, you can. Solve, I don't know if you're going to go live because it's weekend.
I might. To be determined. I don't know. I'm going to see what this weather does, man. Before I make any kind of decision on that. It's looking pretty rough out there right now.
I'm gonna get ready for my Bible study.
You guys can have
discipleship class.
I'm going to poke the Dell a little bit and give everybody an update on what I'm doing with the Antarctic thing. That's what I'm doing around 11:30 or so tonight, my time.
Cool.
Well, somebody asked on Twitter. They said, "What is the biggest cause for divorce?" That's easy, marriage.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult to have a divorce if you're not married.
Yeah.
That's the thing today, though.
Really,
it's become normal not to marry at all.
Yeah.
Now, Christian marriages are absolutely being destroyed. Like, my buddy, he goes to a church, and the pastor said he was praying about Holy Spirit, and you know what, guys? He stopped the sermon, and he said he was really convicted, and he started speaking about how the marriages in this church are being broken. I just every day I have someone in here, we're getting divorced, and he just got convicted, and I was happy to hear this because they need to start teaching about healing marriages and healing stuff like that. So I thought it was really cool, but it's such a problem in our church, and so anyway, my wife and I are celebrating 25 years on the 17th,
man.
which is
wow.
Yeah,
almost. Congratulations.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, this is our second time
quickly,
being
though.
married, and we just had 10 years.
Awesome.
Congratulations, man.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we're going on
altogether,
15, so
it's over 25 years. Let's see,
No, I
since
made it to 17.
well, we've had
26 years. No,
yeah, we've
36 years
yeah,
altogether.
October, me and my wife are 15 years already. I can't believe it. It goes so quickly.
It does.
Yeah. If it wasn't
going
through God's
quicker.
grace, I wouldn't be married. She would have left me, but thank God.
Oh yeah,
Made it 39.
definitely. You go through things.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, love is a choice. That's a very good thing that was given to me. That's love is a choice. Eventually, it all it comes down to it. So, but anyway, that's cool. Oh, yes,
For sure.
tomorrow.
There's
But
a
yeah.
Globe in the audience. I'm sorry. He's been married 25 years. Wow. And it's his meteorite anniversary. Is that a question or?
Well, oh, I don't know. What does that mean?
Isn't that the silver? I think 25 years is silver.
Yeah, it is.
And the
Oh,
gold,
okay.
gold is 50 years.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Bronze is 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was cool having you guys on. Really appreciate it. Make sure to
Thanks for having
tune
us.
in tomorrow. It's going to be an epic stream. Really hope you're all going to make it. Please make sure to share and like. And watch out for Solve if he does go live. I know Roger will probably go live. He's always live as well. And make sure to catch PJ. See you guys all tomorrow. Many blessings. And yeah, may the pressure with you.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Much blessings.